Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to what's Talk Raps. You're listening to what's Talk Raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Welcome. It's Saturday. It's noon or 11 my time. You know what time it is. This is Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey. Of course, I'm with my co-host, Righteous Reg. What's going on, brother?
In the building, it's your boy, Media Man, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. It's Saturday, January something. It's 2024. I still can't believe it, Phil. Feels good though. There's a lot to talk about. There's been so much going on in the news this week, whether it be hip hop, whether it be wrestling, whether it be black stand-up comedians, whether it be basketball. Like, where could we start, big bro? It doesn't even, like, there's so many places to go.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This is our first episode of 2024. It was a very eventful end to the year. There was a lot of stuff happening at the end of the year. And then we started this year off with Katt Williams deciding he was going to blow up the world and go viral with basically his control verse for all of these stand-up comedians and people that he's worked with. And whoever else just is catching strays.
Anybody.
Anybody can get it, I guess. Very entertaining. I still haven't seen the entire interview, but when that clip dropped on Twitter from Shannon's account and it was 30 minutes, I was like, 30 minutes. And then I watched all of it. I was like, oh, Katt was firing off, bro.
Letting the chopper spray. Yeah, when I saw that, that's what tipped me off. I was like, why is this little clip 30 minutes? I'm like, usually you see a little thing and like it's clipped and you're like, it's gonna be like 2 or 3 minutes. No, this thing is 30 minutes. They're trying to give it all the way up. And Katt did not let anything not be said. He said everything that needed to say. I think the thing about it is nothing that he said was really the wildest thing. Like, a lot of this stuff we kind of heard. If you know, like,
some of it was pretty wild.
Yes, definitely.
Some of it was pretty wild.
But if you kind of know the game, if you know that world, the stand-up comedian world, specifically these guys that he's talking about, it's not the craziest thing. Some of these things are wild. Definitely, he jumped out the window. But a lot of it's like, yeah, I think, of course. Like, I think people are getting hung up on, I was thinking about this pretty extensively, of him saying that Kevin Hart is an industry plant. Now, I think people get, I think the term industry plant has a stigma on it now because of hip hop or some, I don't know, people, when people say that, people think it's wild. But we know that Hollywood makes a conscious effort to do this. Kevin Hart was an industry plant, not in a bad way though, but like, this guy's the funny black guy. He's about to be in every funny black guy movie that there is. That's pretty much the definition of what an industry plant is. But that's not Kevin Hart's fault. That's what Hollywood does. They do it with white actors too. It's not like a specifically to black actors that are stand-up comedians. Like, if they pick the new person, when Channing Tatum was the guy, he was in every single movie. I don't know who's in a new movie. I can't even think about it. But when they pick the person, they go for it. And they're industry plants all around this. And I think people are just kind of hung up on like that part of it. But like, that's the game at this point, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there were two things that were very interesting about it from watching it. Because when I initially watched it, I was like, no, this is very funny. This is essentially like Katt giving you a preview of what his stand-ups are in interview form. And it was great. All of the jokes were great. His pacing and how he controlled the narrative in the interview was fantastic. No, this was genius. This was genius marketing for his stand-ups. If you thought this guy fell off, if you think he's just Money Mike or whatever other character,
wrong.
This was genius marketing. That video, I believe, currently is sitting at like 22 million views on YouTube.
22 mil. Last time I checked, it was at like
20,
13, and it's like
20
that's
it,
crazy.
it might be over that at this point, but
Wow.
definitely went viral on Twitter. I saw somebody tweet that something went viral when all of your friends that don't have Twitter are texting you something, and I definitely got a bunch of that of people texting me like, "Did you see that Katt interview?" And that's how you know that this thing made a splash. Hey man, more power to him.
Yeah, because usually it works in like usually we get it over there. Like Twitter's like feels like first, and then like my friends will be like a week later when it gets to like Facebook, and they're like, "Did you hear about Katt Williams?" I'm like, "Yeah, like a week ago. How did you finally get here?"
This was instant.
Instant. Everybody was like, "Yo."
This was instant.
That and the dude jumping over to get the judge, like those two things are like
those two things were like concurrent, like everywhere. Hopefully the judge is okay, but that looked crazy, bro. I felt bad initially because I laughed just off at first. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, bro.
I don't think you can do that. You cannot do that.
But yeah, so the other thing about
hopefully the judge is okay though, because that's crazy. That was crazy.
That hopefully she's okay. This was an older lady, like of course,
man.
Hopefully she's okay. But the other thing about the Katt thing is then I saw people turning it into the usual, man, he's a true speaker, man. He's a revolutionary and all these other things.
Great thinker.
It turned into fodder for conspiracy brothers to do their thing, and I'm just like,
it got spooky.
I was like, it's okay to say this was just entertaining. There was a few things in here that he very much clearly exaggerated, but that's stand-up. That's what comedians do. So I wasn't upset about it, but there were several things he said on there that clearly seemed like they were not true. But
there was a lot of egregious, like, everybody you're talking about, Katt Williams, are funny though. Like you could say whatever you want and like frame it however you want, but like Kevin Hart is insanely funny. I've laughed at his specials very hard. He's in the position that he's in for a reason, and like everybody was ripping off Bernie Mac, but they were ripping off the good stuff. That's why they're in the positions that they are in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he said a lot of things that are true, like the stuff he was saying about Bernie, of course. The stuff he was saying about Cedric stealing his joke. That was another thing that was kind of like instant, like they had the side by side of both jokes, and boy, it does look like Ced remixed that joke. There were other things on there, like the part where he's talking about Steve, and he was saying, "No, the reason he don't do stand up no more is because I clowned him in Detroit."
Fried him.
And the clip showed up of him trashing him in Detroit, and he did indeed fry him on the stage in Detroit. So there were a lot of things that he said that were true, but also it was the comedian thing to do. Bernie Mac used to say all the time, your deal as a comedian is to put 20 on 10, and he was absolutely putting 20 on 10 on a few things here. But it's fine because it was insanely funny. There were several parts of it that I had to pause because I was laughing so hard. Yeah, very much entertaining, man. Shout out to Katt for giving us all content creators everywhere something to talk about, giving all of these people, like I said, the control verse for them to now come and respond to. I've seen so many people respond to it, and I haven't listened to anybody's responses because I'm just like, no, this is funny. I don't need to know the truth at this point.
The one that's been stuck in my head is Katt, you don't think Faison Love is funny? The world don't think Faison is. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, he said that about Cedric when he's like, no, but Cedric's funny. You don't think Cedric's funny? He's like, the world don't think. The world don't think Cedric's funny. And not for nothing, he is 1,000% right about Faison. Faison is one of the biggest haters I've ever seen, man.
I don't understand why they keep interviewing this guy at this point. Like, all he does is go on and hate, and you don't got it like that. You've always been the side character. That's your thing, dude. I don't know why you're trying to talk like a main character. It's crazy.
No, he was. I've seen Faison do several interviews, and he's talking crazy. He's been talking crazy about Dave for the longest. He talks crazy about everybody. Nah, you're not that guy to be talking like that. But and the other part, because I've seen people say, "All right, well, yeah, but this guy's funny and that guy's funny." But the part of it is, hey man, if I'm Katt Williams and I think I'm funnier than this guy that you guys are putting on this pedestal, yeah, I'm roasting him.
Yep. It's hip hop. It's comedy. And it's essentially like when he's talking about the Steve Harvey thing, he's like, no, it was on the stage. I showed you guys that I'm the best comedian. I'm not just talking it, I'm living it. And you can see it. And when he talks about it, especially, he's like, I have the best specials. They're quoted. The people were bringing up the Tiffany Haddish thing when he was like, what joke does she have? What bit does she have? What anything? And it's like Katt Williams still has bits that people use to this day. Like I pull up his gifs and videos all the time.
Yeah, no, Katt is,
and he just created like 1,000 more.
Yeah, he's when it comes to the stand up thing, and I think that was his point. Like, hey man, you can say you've had all of these leading roles, you can say you have all of this money, you can say you've done all these TV shows, but when it comes to this comedy thing, I'm funnier than you. And when it comes to who's the funniest, the people are always going to tell you, and he's absolutely right about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that a lot of it was dope. A lot of it was egregious, but that's kind of how the game is. I love that Shannon Sharp is just kind of in the middle. Like people are like either extremely on one side or the other of like he's great in his position. Like I like that he just kind of let Katt Williams do his thing. Like sometimes these interviewers are like trying to give too much. It's like, no, Katt Williams came to talk, dude. Just let him do this thing.
Yeah,
And then there's some people that are on the other side of like, he's the worst. Why didn't he dig? Why didn't he do this? Like, what do you need to dig into? He gave it all up.
Yeah, I saw people saying that Shannon's a bad interviewer. I don't think he's the best interviewer. I don't think he's going to give you what certain other people are going to do in terms of follow-up questions. But I think he did what he needed to do with this. I think Club Shay Shay is an outlet for what it is because people are comfortable and they come up there and have candid conversations.
Right.
Because I thought the Steve Harvey interview he did was very good. I've watched that entire one, and that's a very good interview. But I also respect Katt watching that interview and the Cedric interview and what Ricky had said, like, yo, you let these guys come up here and get lies off.
Yeah.
So I am here to tell the truth. And I'm like, nah, you can't do nothing but respect it. Like,
every time something like this happens, I'm like, Punk parallels. Like if Punk was in this position, he would do this exact same thing, like air out like 10 of his haters. Like, oh, you think he did this, but let's talk about when I did this to him.
What on earth did I ever do to have an empty-headed fuck like Ricky Smiley saying he stole that movie from me when he knows I was the best in this movie?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Honestly, I just think it's like healthy for the game. Like you said, you haven't listened to any of the responses. Of course, people are talking about your boy Luda coming back with the freestyle response for some odd reason. I don't know what's
times are definitely changing because he got Luda in the booth and I was sitting watching Luda rap and I'm like, though, it's a different time, man. Like Luda's teeth are too perfect now. They're too white. And like he's got like the perfectly crispy like lining and everything. He looks like money. This doesn't look like hungry Ludacris no more.
Too clean. You're too clean, bro.
It's too pristine. And I was just like, I feel you. I know you can still rap. Luda's a legend, man. I'm not trying to hear any slander. I saw some of that this week too, and I'm like, I'm not listening to any Luda slander. That guy, he's gotten off on too many records. He is one. He had a run of features that is unmatched. Like we're not doing that.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when they try. There's revisionist history, man. Now,
absolutely.
2001, we was bumping that Ludacris album loud, brother. I'm telling you, like that thing was. A couple of his albums back to back to back, it was like, no, Ludacris is the guy, man. I don't know what y'all are trying to say right here. Like, it was some goofy stuff, it was some wilder stuff, but that was like his position. But when it came to rapping, Ludacris can rap,
bro. You go sit here and tell me you didn't pick him in Def Jam Fight for New York? I'm not listening to these lies, bro. Cut out. He's one of our legends. But yeah, I listened to his verse. I did listen to most of Ice Cube's.
Oh yeah, that was the one I was like, I'm good. I don't want to.
That was the main one I listened to because I wanted to know specifically about the rape scene because I was like, is that true? I don't know. That don't sound right. But he kind of confirmed a lot of what Katt said. He said that initially there was no like you weren't gonna see rape in the movie, which doesn't really disprove what Katt said. It's just kind of. He also was kind of like, I don't really do that. And I'm just like, cute. We've seen Players Club. Like, there's a rape scene.
And that scene was pretty on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we didn't see her physically get raped, but, it's in the movie.
Nasty.
Which, Players Club, I feel like, is kind of an underrated classic.
There's some wild
stuff. Another
stuff.
Bernie Mac performance in there. If you don't like anything else from that movie, Bernie Mac as Dollar Bill kills it. Chi-Town.
If anything, Bernie Mac getting praise out of this is probably the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah, I very much love that part about it. Bernie getting his flowers. Mark Curry getting his flowers as well, because absolutely deserved.
Bro.
And that was another one where they showed clips of Mark Curry and how absolutely stole some of his jokes. He absolutely stole a Halloween joke from him. And
Bro, we can see you.
yeah, no, but Mark Curry deserves his flowers.
Come on.
Man. Bernie absolutely deserves his flowers, man. He was always the funniest of the four of them to me, like no
Easy.
lie. DL got his flowers a little bit too. He's another one I feel like is a little bit underappreciated.
But yeah, shout out Bernie, another underrated Bernie. If you guys have never seen Soul Man with Bernie and Samuel L. Jackson, like laughs from second one. Like this is one of his best movies that he did right before he passed away. So Bernie was set up to be that guy. It's crazy. And then they started with the conspiracy theories of what I'm like, dude, just stop. It was just a really good, entertaining interview from Katt. We don't have to get into the conspiracy Illuminati bag. Like Katt got into it, but you don't have to really dig into it. In 1997 on the Cedric the Entertainer was on the Vibe. And it's like, yo, you guys.
I seen people that were like, y'all really thought this hair was real? Like, yeah, people weren't looking at it that deep back then, buddy.
Dude, I was 8. I wasn't like, look at Steve Harvey's hair. It's fake. What are we talking about at this point?
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. All of those guys have had tremendous careers. I did think, like I said, the Steve interview with Shannon was insightful. He said some things I really agree with. But I also understand a lot of these people lie. That's just what it is.
Facts. You can't get to Steve Harvey's position without being on some wild shit and just being called. Anytime somebody calls him Mr. Potato Head, it's funny. It's always funny. It never fails.
When somebody put the picture up there with like the big white teeth and the big mustache and everything, I was like, dude, y'all gotta chill out, man. I will say that 2024 has given me a lot of laughs internet wise. So buddy, all of them remixes of that video of Brian brushing his hair, bro. Oh my god, dog. Oh my god.
Brush that weak ass fade. I laughed for like 3 hours.
Oh my god. Yo, whoever added him to the Poetic Justice clip, I was in tears laughing at it, man. One of the funniest things, I can't unsee it now. It is just hilarious, man. Brush that weak ass face.
The way that the internet can connect us like this, because like when that movie came out, it's like a black, every black, that's like a black cult classic. And that was always a funny scene when they throw his the brush at the end. Like my cousin and I would rewind that like 1,000 times.
Yo, Pac beating him up and then throwing the brush at the end and driving off in the mail truck. It's still classic, man.
We would rewind that like 1,000 times. We thought that shit was so funny.
And he picked it up and started brushing his hair at the end of it. Yo,
we thought that shit was the funniest thing of all time. So yeah, so then getting to like, then LeBron's the thing starts happening. It's like, first of all, what are you doing, LeBron? Let's start there. Why are you brushing so intently too? Like, it's not just like usually like, oh, I'm in an interview, like let me no, he's like going in and it's like, Bron, what are you doing? So that, and then to connect that to the Poetic Justice thing, it's like, how do you guys do this?
Yo,
how does this happen?
So I've said many times, I think that Brian is one of the most unintentionally funny people in the world. He just does so many things. I don't think he realizes how funny it is in a moment. But brother, him sitting there brushing his hair hard like that and then like rubbing it down at the top afterwards, I'm like, bro, stop, man. Cut it out. And he's always wearing a do-rag. It's just hilarious, bro. So
why doesn't he go to Turkey? I just don't understand it. Why isn't he in Turkey getting the hairline? I saw the TikTok videos. There's a bunch of bald dudes lined up at the on the flight to Turkey. Why isn't he on this way? He's LeBron James. He's rich. I just don't get it, Phil. If it's gone, go and get it done, bro. I don't understand this.
Man, listen, man. I know it's got to be a tough situation when it starts going, man. But it's time, brother. It's time. It is, man. Like, you sitting there trying to brush that hair all hard and trying to get it to lay down, bro. Like, cut it out, dog. Like, enough, man.
It's been enough for a while, but this is like, all right, this is the nail in the coffin, bro.
Enough, man. When the dude was like, man, he bought one of the most expensive wave brushes there is to massage his thoughts and memories, I was on the floor, bro. I was like, God, yo, stop it, man. And then the very next interview he did last night after they lost to the Grizzlies, he's got a do-rag on immediately. You see all of his hair. hair care products in the background. I was like, yo, this dude is
He's a sick individual, man.
hilarious, man. And then the poor guy that asked him about the Ricky Rubio thing. Ricky Rubio announced he's retiring. Shout out to Ricky Rubio. But somebody asked him about it, and boy, you could see how much this hurt Braun's soul in that moment. He was just like, listen, man, Ricky, if you're playing this back and it sounds away, I don't want it to sound away, but I'm very upset that we got our ass whooped. And this guy asked me this stupid question about you that I don't want to ask in this moment. I was like, dang, man. Oh, my God.
I didn't see this.
Yo, if you have not seen this clip from last night, hilarious, man. The last 40 or 50 seconds of this video, somebody asked him about that. I was so embarrassed for this guy in that moment. But it did give me a very good laugh last night. I got a lot of very good laughs last night. A lot of good belly laughs. So 2024 is off to a good start in that way. We got a lot of things to be entertained by. I've said many times, I think that January is the best month of wrestling. We got a lot of really good wrestling to start this month. Yeah. What a time.
I'm like, it's so intense. Like every day, it's like a real, like everybody's going to be in it type of situation, either the cat thing or the judge thing or LeBron and his hair. It's like everything. It's like, I know they sometimes intentionally do stuff to distract us. The distractions are great to start the year. Thank you.
A lot of really, really funny things last night, man.
Let's get into a few super chats before we move forward. Arduit says, happy Grapsody Day and New Year. Y'all, Wrestle Kingdom 18 smacked. The first one I've watched on Rock, Roman, Cody, and people freaking. I feel like they're forgetting triple threats. Keep Rock protected if need be. I haven't heard the idea of a triple threat all week. That's really funny.
I don't think they should do a triple threat personally. I can see why people want to do a triple threat. But I personally don't think that they should.
What's the drawback?
I just think right now, like there was so much hype for so long about just getting Roman versus Rock 1-on-1, and I feel like if you have that match on the table, just do it. I feel like you trying to have your cake and eat it too, and possibly not pleasing anybody. It was the same thing they tried to do with the women's main event, where it's just like, all right, well, Charlotte was already pretty much promised the main event, but this is the hottest main event we have. We should just go with Becky versus Ronda, but let's just put Charlotte in there as well, because let's try to please everybody. Don't just try to please everybody. If you know that this is a blockbuster match, just do it.
If you have Dwayne The Rock Johnson for a time, put him in there 1-on-1 with Roman. Stop being ridiculous. How do you feel? We're gonna totally get into it. No, we'll get into it later. But yeah, Eloquent says, you have an unnatural allegiance to losers, and it's not like you is a bar.
He dropped so many bars like that. One of my favorite bars is just such a simple thing to say, but when he kept saying, man, why would he lie? I don't know why liars lie. Like, yo, it's such a common sense thing to say, but it was funny every time he said it.
That string of the interview was like getting me every single time. I'm like, no, Katt's spitting though, because a lot of this stuff is connected to some other places. I'm like, honestly, he keeping it real. Johnny says, it took Sting versus Hogan and Taz versus Sabu 18 months to happen. So at Double or Nothing, Swerve defends the world belt against Keith Lee in a Texas death match. Why did you bring this around to this?
I laughed very hard at that last week. Us sitting here on this podcast saying, all right, well, match is finally happening, man. People said that match ain't happening, and boy, when I saw that tweet go up after we got off here and saw that Keith was hurt, I was like, no way. That's no way.
Phil, I feel like I'm being trolled sometimes. I come on here and make jokes. We all laugh about it. People tweet about it. But this time I was like, all right, you guys. This is candid camera. Y'all remember that? I'm being punked.
We were talking when we saw the tweet. I was
legit rolling on the floor laughing is real. I was on the floor laughing.
Yeah, no. But yeah, unfortunate. we'll get into some AEW Worlds End talk, but unfortunate that we didn't get the match.
Yeah. Orion Ben 666 says, when I'm gonna leave the earth, I'm gonna cat out.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's cabal, man. It's collective. Oh man, there were so many things he said that I was just like, I know,
Bars on bars.
I know, man.
Some good work in there. Bianca Leia says, happy belated New Year's, gentlemen. So Katt Williams finished more stories in 5 days than Cody finished in 2 years.
Poor Code, man. Code Dog's having he's having a rough week, man.
We're gonna get into it. I have a lot of thoughts.
He's having a rough week, man. Well,
Man.
not having a rough week because that's my guy has on a wrestling club shirt. Shout out to Cody Rhodes for helping those kids go to WrestleMania this year. That is an awesome thing he's doing for those kids. Can't say enough about how cool that is. And he's done so many things like that where he just does things for people that, he doesn't say it, but they know. Shout out to Cody, man.
That's the next super chat from Orion Ben 66. Aggressions at High Grapsody. Congrats to TWC. Good going, Cody. Cody Rhodes is so much better than we all think he is. Like, we all know like Cody's coolest, but he's 10 times even better than that. Forget the wrestling, forget the promos, forget AEW, forget WWE, forget all that. Just like as a human being to even say that and do that. They're tweeting about WrestleMania. He goes, oh yeah, everybody forget about it. I got your hotel and the tickets.
Wow. It made People's Magazine. I don't know if you saw that. But
I didn't.
Yeah, it made it in the People's Magazine.
Wow.
That's dope. That's dope for him to
Come
do that for
on,
those
man.
kids.
Like, just I can't even put into words how amazing that is. Shout out to Cody Rhodes because he don't have to do any of that. I know personally how generous and amazing of a person he is, and so, man, I can't say much more about it. Great, give him the belt. I'm changing everything. Dwayne Johnson, stay your ass at home. Let Cody finish.
Cody's the people's champion now. It's open.
That's it. Like, it doesn't matter, regardless of what happens at WrestleMania 40. We know who the real people's champion is, and it's Cody Rhodes, big dog. Leonard Aarons III says The Rock coming to Raw was, to me, depressing. I get the whole Rock Roman thing, but what are folks expecting out of this? Why is it needed after a 1,000+ day run as champ? Cody's story dead on arrival.
Lot of thoughts there. Let's get into it. Let's get into this Rock on Raw stuff because that is probably one of the biggest talking points of the week.
Definitely.
Of course, this was coming off of Triple H giving the announcement that a WWE champion would show up on day one, and we did. We did get Jinder Mahal to troll us all.
Great swerve.
It was a great swerve. Jinder came out and did the whole Americans You Suck thing. He said jingoism on WWE television. Not a word that I would ever think I would hear on WWE television. And then he proceeded to tell us, yes, it's a real word. Look it up. And I was like, yeah, I know what jingoism means. But okay.
All right.
It's cool. Get your shit up. But then proceeded to get The Rock coming out to confront him. We got a very much USA patriotism promo / segment out of it, which that kind of stuff wasn't really for me. But we got Rock on WWE Raw. I just was really sitting here thinking, like, this is a crazy time we're in. 2 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, CM Punk was on the same show. Did not think that in the span of a month, CM Punk and The Rock would be back on Raw.
Nope.
Wild times. What did you think about this segment? Because I'm sure that you had thoughts.
I'm trying to get an interview, Phil, so I have to keep a couple of them to myself. Help me out. Listen, the USA part, you guys know. I wanted no parts of it. The meat and bones of this was at the end. He gets to it. He's like, I'm about to go to the bar. Where do y'all think I should sit? Should I sit at the bar? Should I sit at a booth? Or should I sit at the head of the table? I liked it. I thought it was a really good line. I'm like, we did all of that. We just get me to this line. Why do we need all this filler to get me to the real meat and bones of this? Okay, so there's been a couple of things pitched, I think, here, Phil, because people have been talking about, oh, Cody can still finish the story because they could do The Rock and Roman in Australia at Elimination Chamber. you get The Rock WrestleMania 40, the 40th anniversary, and you think they're gonna send him to Australia or wherever it's at?
Nah. I thought that was one of the craziest talking points on the timeline of people going, "Oh, they don't need this match at WrestleMania. You are crazy.
They don't need this match at WrestleMania.
You are crazy." There are bits of the segment that very much weren't for me, but I do think when he got into the Roman stuff, I was intrigued. The crowd was very much into it. What I've come to understand about Rock showing up now is that the nostalgia pops and the stuff he's going to do for the crowd to get the crowd to participate. That's really the magic of it. Us sitting at home and going, "Oh, well, Rock, I don't know if that ages too well," but that stuff doesn't matter. It's all about the moment. It's all.
I
about
don't
him.
like how he leads us into. I'm trying to get an interview here, Phil. Look, I'm not trying to get into it. I don't like how he leads everybody into everything. He's like, oh, this is about to be trending. Oh, everybody's about to in 3 seconds. It's like Rock. They'll do it. You don't need to prompt everybody. You're The Rock. If you say something funny that they're going to do, they're probably going to chant it in 3 seconds because you prompted us to do this for the last 25 years. You don't have to keep setting us up, Dwayne. You're The Rock. You can say anything. You come out there and say, "Rudy Poo Candy Ass." We said that for a long time, dude. You don't have to prompt everybody. I'm trying to get an interview.
Well, I mean, I just feel like that's how he does things now, and that's kind of the standard thing that he does when he comes back. It's the WWE formula. So it's fine. I thought some things he said here were funny. I thought the Sheik tribute was funny. I thought certain other parts of it were funny. But yeah, the head of the table line, because I got this shoot and caught in a moment because I was like, man, he still hasn't said Roman's name though. And at the end of the promo, he certainly said.
I remember you sent that too. You sent that. I remember reading your text of saying he hasn't said Roman yet, and I'm like, oh, he hasn't. And then like a few minutes later, he was like, Phil.
Yeah, and of course people were like, oh, this aged wrong. Yeah, I hear you guys. Chill out. But yeah, so they've been chasing this match for almost 3 years at this point. I am one of those people that have felt like, all right, I don't know if the match will ever happen. I don't know if the match is going to be as good as we want it to be at this point in both of these guys' career. But at this point, you've been chasing it so long. Fans speculate about it every single year at this point. Yeah. If you can do it, if he's on board, you have to do it at this point. And unfortunately for Cody, he's probably going to lose his spot because there's no way, if you have the option to do The Rock, one of the biggest wrestling stars of all time, not just one of the biggest WWE stars, one of the most recognizable wrestlers in the world. If you got the chance to have him at WrestleMania against the guy that you deem to be your guy, the biggest star of this era, you're going to do it.
Phil,
you're not going to just slide Cody in there.
40. People keep forgetting 40. This is a big deal. The Rock. You think they're about to send The Rock to Australia? No.
They are, bro. If you got this is a WrestleMania match, bro. I saw people saying that why do you have to save everybody for every big match for WrestleMania? This is a WrestleMania match, man.
The Rock.
And I just don't see a world where you put this on the Australia stage. I could be wrong, but I just feel like this is a WrestleMania match. If he's in and he wants to do it, the fact that he came in and teased the match, and there's been other inklings and hints to him wanting to participate in WrestleMania. If he's on board, I feel like you have to do it. I hate what that means for Cody. It confirms what we all knew, that Cody should have just won last year. But this is The Rock. Like, you don't just pass up a Rock match at this point.
The Rock has shown up on WWE TV 2 times. Like, people were like, oh, it's a coincidence he was at the football thing 2 times. I'm like, it's a crazy coincidence. Like, they keep falling into this. Like, and he hasn't been on Raw in so long. Like, all these kind of pieces are falling together. I'm landed at, you got Dwayne The Rock Johnson. If he says you guys got one match, I'm putting him in the main event of WrestleMania, the last match of the show. It's WrestleMania 40. We've been building this match for 3 years. Like Phil said, every single year we get to that, they're like, are we going to do the match? You got to do the match if we're given this position. This isn't surprising to me because I came on this podcast and said at the end of WrestleMania 40, Roman Reigns is going to be holding that championship up very high as he proceeds to go and beat Hulk Hogan's record. We all knew that Cody, the story wasn't going to be finished regardless of how y'all try to play it out. Like, even if Cody was in the match, he probably was going to lose because Roman Reigns is going to be holding that belt at the end of WrestleMania 40 and beating The Rock. Oh my God, what an accolade.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a chance that this is not leading to The Rock, and maybe this is a swerve. I've seen people say
I
that
love a swerve.
this means that this is going to be one of the Saudi matches next year. I think that that's depressing. Why would you do Rock versus Roman in Saudi Arabia? Again, that is a WrestleMania match. There could be swerving this. I think a really cool and kind of funny swerve uh, because of Cody's journey for the last year of him getting endorsements for big guys. I do think it would be really funny if Cody won the Rumble and then the guy that came up and raised his hand and pointed to him at the end, the same way he did for Roman, is The Rock. That'd be very funny to me. But I don't think that is nearly as interesting as actually getting the match. There are other stuff that they can do here, of course, like do the special guest referee thing. Not as interested in that either. But this could all be a swerve. Maybe this is still heading to Cody getting his match at WrestleMania. Boy, it don't look good for our guy. Don't look good. Cody gave that interview. I think it was on Busted Open last year. I think it was around November or December where he said, "I'm not worried, man. The cream rises to the top. The usual jargon. And if I'm there, I'm not gonna lose my spot to The Rock, buddy. Not looking good, man."
Optimistic, big bro. I appreciate your thinking like that, but if The Rock's here, I'm sorry, man. It's The Rock. Like beyond wrestling, that's The Rock, one of the most recognizable names in the entire world. Some people don't even know that he's a wrestler. That's how recognizable this guy is. Like, if you have him, he's in the main event. People even pitching him being somewhere else besides the WrestleMania main event is so funny to me. I'm like, why are you saying this,
bro? And I say this as somebody that hated that he main evented WrestleMania 29 and
same.
Punk lost his chance to main event that show. Hated it. But business wise, no, there's no way you don't go with The Rock for that match. Money wise and what you're gonna do business wise, the eyes that you're gonna bring to your product. No, there's no way you don't go with The Rock match. And that's another thing that makes it ironic. The year that Punk comes back, it's also the year that The Rock comes back and does exactly what he did to Punk 10 years ago.
What is this timeline, Phil? How do these things keep lining up like this? Like you said a month ago, saying, 2 weeks, Rock's going to be on, CM Punk's going to be on. CM Punk left because he was mad about The Rock taking his spot at WrestleMania. Now The Rock's back again to take a spot again. What?
This could possibly happen again. But again, hey, maybe we're all panicking for nothing. Maybe this is, again, all the swerve, and Cody might finish the story of WrestleMania. I do think that there's something to the idea of them finally giving us the Rock match at WrestleMania and Roman retaining and Cody beating him somewhere later in the year like SummerSlam.
Phil, one thing I haven't seen people talk about and just in my brain, what if The Rock wins the Royal Rumble?
Don't do that to us. Please don't do that. Don't do that. Please do not do that. That would be a mistake. Because Rock doesn't need the Rumble to get a title match. Like, I think that'd be a huge mistake.
Whatever, because Roman could tell the story. What have you done to earn a shot at me? The last time you were here, you got dragged. Why are you getting a match with me? You have to earn it. I know it's awful. It's so
but bad. You don't need to do that. The setup is there. You have the family strife. You have a stake to the claim of him saying that I'm the head of the table because I'm the prime breadwinner. No, the highest paid member of the Anoa'i family is The Rock. So he has claim to the title of head of the table. That's the story. You don't need the Royal Rumble win to get there.
I think the worst idea I've heard so far out of everybody is you do Roman and Cody in Australia and Cody beats Roman before WrestleMania. I'm like, why are you guys saying this?
So you got to give Cody his win in Australia at like 4 a.m? No. No, absolutely not. No. That makes no sense.
Why are you guys saying? Why do you guys want this? That's a wild story. Because Roman doesn't need the belt at WrestleMania. I'm like, and that's how you get it off of him? Ew.
I'm telling you, if you want this to be the final notch on his belt as champion of beating The Rock at WrestleMania and then going on to break Hogan's record, that I understand. But deciding that he needs to lose before WrestleMania so that Cody gets his story, no, just have Cody beat him at SummerSlam. Like. Right. If that's the case, what we're going to do now, this begs the question that because you've been spending the entirety of 2023 building Cody back up for this rematch, what do you do with him at WrestleMania if he's not wrestling Roman?
I hadn't thought about it because he said a million times that he doesn't want Seth's belt.
He does, and I mean, that's looking like Punk's spot now.
Yeah.
So, and even if Rollins is not champion, I can't see you slotting Cody into that spot. Of course,
Cody.
the story I've seen people, and I did an article for Bleacher Report where I said the same thing. Orton makes sense because their history together. They had the match at WrestleMania. That was the 3-way for the legacy stuff. You've had you have all these stories. You have the what Cody said in the press conference after Survivor Series, how he felt like Orton has always been a great mentor to him, and watching him win Royal Rumble, he always felt like I want to be like him, and I think it means something to have him beat him at WrestleMania and finally kind of get that leap over his mentor. And it's kind of the same thing as beating Brock and getting that endorsement from Brock. I think him beating Orton and getting that endorsement at WrestleMania could be it could work. I still think it's not as good as him just getting the Roman match and winning, but I do think there's a good story you can do there with Orton. I think with AJ being back heel and they've never done that match, AJ versus Cody also makes a lot of sense. There's options, but it does feel sucky that we've been kind of hoping that the whole point of them spending all this time keeping him away from Roman is because we were going to get the Roman match at WrestleMania, and feeling like that might not happen is crazy.
And there's still people saying that last year wasn't the worst ending of like. There's still people saying he shouldn't have finished the story last. No, imagine how different it would be right now if he was just world champion. We would still have the hottest heat in the world for Rock and Roman, and none of this would even matter. Like, this makes it even more apparent that last year's result was the wrong result, you know?
Yeah. Because you could still do all the same things if Cody was champion. You could still have The Rock show up and do that head of the table line.
Yep.
And actually this would make the Orton match make even more sense if Cody was champion. And again, you could do even more things with Cody as champion. Again, you could do the AJ match. There's so much stuff you could do with him as champion. I just still think that was a mistake.
Wow.
But what are you gonna do? I think it's good that they have a lot of us talking about what could be the main event of these two nights. I think the intrigue about what could be the main event is good for the product. I think the fact that Punk is in the mix, now you have The Rock in the mix. You have people actually gunning for the title now. Oh my God. You have 4 people gunning for that title at Royal Rumble. I think that's good. I think that Cody over the past year, having to get through all of these obstacles, and now he's got this rogue gallery of people that keep getting in his way. I think that's good as well.
How does, because this person we also thought was going to finish the story at WrestleMania, Cody versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania?
I wouldn't do that because I feel like if you do that, I think Cody's going to lose, because Cody doesn't want to be IC champion. He wants to be world champion. He's done that. He's been IC champion. He's revolutionized that belt. He's the one that brought the white belt back and all these other things. He doesn't need to be IC champion. So I wouldn't do that. I think
again, it's like, what do you do with Gunther? Because I thought he was going to be beating Seth Rollins, but it looks like that's going to be CM Punk's spot. I
still think you do the Gable match at WrestleMania if you're doing Gunther. I think Gable makes a lot of sense. Gunther's been saying he wants the Brock match as well, but I don't see it anywhere Brock challenging for the IC title.
No.
But there's stuff you can do with Gunther. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about what you do with Cody. Because the thing with Punk is, at least when Punk dropped the title, you could tell him, oh, well, the second biggest match at WrestleMania is the streak. You could go for the streak. There is no streak anymore. There's nothing comparable to the streak anymore.
Nope.
So I don't know. I think the Orton story is probably the best. I do think it sucks that you're now going from possibly wrestling Roman to wrestling Orton. But I do think that means something to Cody. So it could work. If it's me, either do the Orton match or the AJ match. I really think the AJ match could be fire as well.
Yeah, I think the story that they could tell with Orton is probably like the most on the surface and easiest to tell. So
Yeah,
probably the best way to go. But going from potentially winning the world title to like a match with no stakes is kind of
sucks.
unfortunate. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing to tell. What did they what's the elimination chamber you think gonna be? Is it gonna be for Cody's belt?
What do you mean for Rollins belt
Or for Rollins belt? Yeah, that's what I meant.
I think it's probably gonna be a number one contenders match. If I had to
for
guess
for Roman?
for Roman.
That Cody
If the
wins?
Rock match is not happening, but we'll see. A lot, man. But Day One was a great show. I think doing kind of the pay per view model on WWE television worked well for them on Monday and Friday. Hey, wonder where they got that from. That was cool to see. I think that the show was good. I thought Becky and Nia had a very good opening match.
I like that match.
Nia has been tremendous since she got back. Go figure. She dropped some pounds. She's gotten faster. She's gotten more explosive. I liked it. I thought that match was good. I thought what they did with it was good. Becky got busted open in this match. Did not expect to see that. I thought the women's title match was good as well. Ivy Nile versus Rhea Ripley was also a pretty fun match. I thought the main event was good. There were some shenanigans at the end of the main event that I wasn't really that here for, but I thought the match itself was very good. I thought they did a lot of good things with the first Raw of the year, and having The Rock there absolutely did what it's supposed to do. Got more people talking, and that's the thing you want at this time of the year, heading into WrestleMania and Royal Rumble.
Couple interesting things. I thought both of the women's matches were really good. I love the finish of Becky and Nia, with Nia hitting the old sucker punch on her as she comes off the ropes.
Hitting the March uppercut.
She was in position for it too. Really, really interesting stuff. There was blood there, so it like added on to like their history. Nia Jax's added some kind of resurgence energy to this division, which I think has been pretty good for the division as a whole. And it's so interesting about Rhea, as like we've come on this podcast and I've been like, why doesn't she wrestle more? Like, what's going on? And she's such a big star. And then when you do see her wrestle, you're like, man, she has it all. I don't understand why they don't have her wrestle, but she's so over that it doesn't matter really at this point. But she's a really good champion. And I think that the trains of her and Becky colliding at WrestleMania is some big money stuff. The most interesting thing I thought that CM Punk would be on the first Raw of the year. The Rock's here, and now CM Punk's going to be on next week. They're not meeting. You think there's still some, or do you think it's water under the bridge?
Well, supposedly it wasn't beef after the podcast, because supposedly The Rock called him. Because remember, he said that on the podcast. He was like, Rock called him and he was like, why are all your fans on Twitter shitting on me? So supposedly they talked and everything is fine. But I mean, even when you think about that, not just The Rock being back, there's a world where CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin can happen now. Like, that's insane.
The Rock and Stone Cold in back-to-back WrestleMania main events or WrestleMania 40 is crazy. And you think they're going to give that up to have Roman to have The Rock in Australia? Y'all are talking crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I thought was crazy when I saw people keep saying, oh, WrestleMania doesn't need The Rock. Bro, Austin just main evented WrestleMania 2 years ago. What are we talking about?
Do these people hear themselves? WrestleMania doesn't need The Rock? What?
No, that sounds absurd. And I get what you mean, because WWE has been trying to sell this for the longest, that the selling point is the brand. But this is still The Rock, man. And this is a match that they've been chasing for almost 3 years. There's no way they're going to pass up on this as a chance to do it in WrestleMania in Philly. I'm not
like, there's so many reasons that you could do it just based off the history that they have. But at the edge of it, the biggest celebrity in Hollywood, you think we're not going to put him on our fucking show? Like, what do y'all guys say? It's The Rock.
Yeah, again, I've been following that. We talk about this match every year. If they got a chance to do it, they're going to do it.
Yeah. A guy that's potentially going to be running for president. Come on, you guys, like the biggest celebrity in the world. You think we're not going to put him in the main event of WrestleMania 40? You guys don't forget 40. We need that big. What's the biggest match we can have in the history of our brand right now that's tangible. This match, let's put it on our biggest show, not on some really cool show that's going to happen in Australia, but our biggest show over here. Come on.
Yeah, I think, and I think that window's closing as well. You gotta,
They got to do it right now.
You got, if you have him and he wants to do the match, you got to do it now. It's now or never, because you got to take that belt off Roman eventually. Yeah, you could do that match as a non-title match, but these two guys are getting older too. You got to do that match as soon as possible.
Now, what does the match look like? Does Roman just drag him? Because Rock can't. We've seen as he's going to tear his whole chest off if he tries to go too crazy.
I think the match will be what it is. It'll be serviceable, but I definitely think Roman is going to go over. I don't see a world where Rock wins that match.
0%. There's no way that The Rock wins this match, and if he does, that's the dumbest idea in the world.
That makes the Cody thing even worse if Rock wins. That's terrible.
God, Cody's odd. Oh, Cena, Cody and Cena at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but that match ain't gonna really.
Nah, 0%. Like, I'm just talking about because Cody was like, "Give me a match before you're gone." It doesn't add any stakes at all. Maybe they do a triple threat with Cody, Cena, and Orton to make it a little bit more interesting. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to help Cody out because it's looking grim for the bro.
Yeah, the Cena match makes sense for Cody as well, but I think in terms of the match will actually be good. I think I would rather see the AJ match or the Orton match.
And I'm just going for star power because then you got The Rock, Cena, and Austin. Like, that sounds great. The match is not gonna, because like Cody and Cena, that'll be the slowest turtle snail match in history. But they'll make it work.
Yeah, but I mean, to your point about the match itself, I don't think that the match quality is really important. It's really just getting the moment of getting Roman and Rock in the ring together and just getting all of the fanfare and stuff.
Could you imagine the shenanigans, Phil? We're gonna see Rikishi. We're gonna see like everybody's gonna be outside for this match.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, man. I'm sad for Cody. I think is where I land.
Maybe the match will still happen. I don't know. Well, I'm still not convinced just yet that Rock is going to sign on and do the match. It doesn't look good though. Does not look good for a guy.
I mean, like, he's really good at swerving. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Like, because he's convinced me that he's not gonna do it. Like what he said, and then I'm like, I don't think he's really gonna do this match. But now, like this week, I'm like, damn, this fool's gonna do the match. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think him doing the head of the table reference, and on top of that, Heyman talking about Rock on SmackDown last night as well. Don't look good, man.
And if you guys are swerving, this is awful to your fan base. You know what I mean? To tease all this and be like, psych, that'd be crazy. They can't do that also. But I think, you can't. If you have this match, if you have The Rock for any amount of time, has to be at WrestleMania. Maybe there's stipulation. He might be filming a movie at that time and they can only get him for the Australia match. We don't know anything at this point. We're all just speculating, but it would be wild for them to get that biggest match they could get and put it not on the biggest show that they have.
Especially after they've been pursuing this match for so long.
Y'all don't like money? That's what I would say if they didn't put it on there.
I mean,
people don't like money. They're like, let Roman lose the belt on Raw. Like, what do you guys say?
I mean, they're gonna get money regardless. They're gonna get that check from Australia if it happens in Australia. So
yeah, and like I think people are right at a point of like we've gotten to a point of WrestleMania doesn't need The Rock, as in we don't need any celebrity ghosts. Like we could do Roman and Cody, and it's gonna hit. It's gonna tell the story they've been telling on here, but like 40, you guys.
Yeah. As usual, don't forget you can send us your super chat. You can send us your humper chat via humperchat.com/Fightful.
We got a bunch of super chats, so let's get into some. Van Twinblade says, you guys watching the new Percy Jackson show? Leah Jeffries is killing it. The white boy jumped 150 to 200 yards into Mississippi from the Ark viewing platform. Plot hole. What?
I don't know what any of that means, sir. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I was like, man, I think Phil knows about this. Like, he's into it. I didn't know what was going on.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have not watched any of the Percy Jackson show. I might eventually check it out.
That's probably it. We haven't seen the show, Van Twin Blade, but of course, always appreciate you for supporting us. Yes Boy says becomes president and then makes himself champion. Tanahashi is a funny guy. Tanahashi is a really funny guy. Phil, why is Tanahashi the champion of this promotion? I understand, like Zack Sabre Jr., we got to get the championship off him. We got to do this. But like, I've seen Tanahashi wrestle. I love him, the god, one of the best of all time. He don't need to be champion at this point.
Going into this match, especially after he became president, I was just like, oh, well, Zach's probably just going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Did not think that Tanahashi was going to win. I definitely did not think he was going to win in the fashion that he won.
Why?
Tanahashi's a funny dude, man.
He's so funny. I was thinking, I'm laughing at 2 a.m. like, why is Tanahashi doing this?
When people at one point before the Hogan allegations and stuff happened, and you just think of like Hogan doing like the air guitar and like the politicking, and people were like, Tanahashi is basically like Japanese Hulk. I was like, he is. He kind of is Japanese Hogan.
Oh my god!
I can't say that now because, of course,
mine is blown. We're just talking about in the ring, you guys. Like not in any of the backstage.
Yeah.
We're just talking about like as a wrestler. My mind is like his gear is kind of like him. Like so.
Yeah, when somebody pointed it out to me, I was like, he kind of is.
Yo. Oh my god, my whole life has changed since you came in. I knew back then. This is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, when somebody pointed it out to me, I couldn't see it, man. I'm just like, but man, of course, all shout out and love to our president and the ace of New Japan Wrestling. And of course our new television champion.
I am blown away. And then to do a Hogan ass move like that is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Tanahashi is GOAT. That's why he is ace and go ace. Deontay Soignier says, shout out Deontay. Body and Big Worm while hanging with Shay Shay is crazy.
What's up, Big Worm? I mean, Big Worm.
That's what you're known for. Why are you smoking a giant cigar, sitting talking to somebody, talking about nobody's anything? Like, why are you?
Ain't nobody checking for you like that.
Nobody checking for you. Somebody was like, has anybody in the world ever typed in Faison Love into YouTube? And I just laughed really hard. I'm like, I don't think so.
Nah.
Maybe Faison Love.
Nah, he keep terrorizing us with these bad interviews where he hates on every other people that are funnier than him.
Why does he? It's clickbait, but it's like, shut up, Road Dogg Jesse James.
Here another one. You gotta leave us alone, Brian. Leave us alone. If there's any chance that you're watching this, I don't know if you watch Fightful YouTube or wrestling podcast because you're busy doing whatever you do, and
shouldn't you be busy? Like, you're not busy enough for the job that you're doing. Why are you talking on this podcast?
Dropping these terrible sound bites and clickbait things on your podcast. Stop it, man. Leave us alone. Leave me alone, man.
The latest one of him saying, "Here's the clickbait. Take it." Leave us alone, Brian.
Leave me alone, Brian. Straight up. Leave us
alone. Man, I don't want to wake up and they're like, everybody's like dunking on him. I don't want to, dude. Just stop. You're up there. You're your man's is the guy. Like, you're living the lifestyle, lavish up there. Your feet kicked up. All the homeboys are over there. Why are you on this podcast trying to say you're better sport? You're not. Also, let's start. Also, if you're listening, you're not. Everything you're saying, you're lying. The only reason that you were over is because everyone was over. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock were here. You could have brought out Vince McMahon's grandma. She would have been the most over person there. People popped for a hand coming out of an old lady's vagina. Everyone in the world was over. Disco Inferno. The NWO was there. Sting was there. You could have brought out Eric Bischoff's dog and it would have been over. Stop talking like you're some great thing. Everyone was over. Anyone that was Jerry Flynn was over. Roadblock, over as fuck. Anybody that went out there was over. Stop trying to talk like this. Just Incredible. Over as hell in WWE.
Not too much on Justin. Don't do Justin.
I mean, he was an X Factor. Shout out to X Factor. I'm just saying, like,
I got
everyone
everything
was
that
over,
I ever
dude.
wanted, and I'm not giving it back.
The Rock is here. Everyone is over. Shut up.
Yeah, nah, bro. You were the worst guy in your stable. Like, let's cut it out, bro. You were hiding. People know who you are because of people you stood next to.
Come on, you were standing next to
you were not that
Shawn
guy.
Michaels, dude.
You stood next to Jarrett. You stood next to Shawn Michaels, Triple H,
the boss.
X-Pac, and all these other guys, bro. You're not that guy. Cut it out.
Acting real Tito Jackson. It's like Tito be like, "No, I was killing it out here."
Ain't nobody here to see you, Brian.
Ain't nobody here to see you, bro. You're here, and we're gonna say your words and cheer because Triple H is also here, and China's here, dude. I love China. You're next to China, so you're cool too,
bro. The guy out of your team that got the singles run that won King of the Ring was Billy. You were not that guy. You were the mouthpiece.
You know how often in his career they were trying to get his partner away from them because they wanted this. Brian, why are you?
That's what I'm saying. Enough.
You talk about the New Age Outlaws, but they spent the whole time trying to get Billy Gunn away from you. Like, why are you?
Bro, enough. Stop terrorizing us, man. Leave us alone.
Stop, dude. And like, even if you do, like, even if like, forget everything Phil and I just said, you do and you were that over, you don't have to say all this if you were that over. You don't have to continuously tell us how over you were because you were over.
Bro, you're doing it the Kenny Smith thing. You keep trying to convince us how great you were. You don't have to do this, bro. Stop it. Just enough.
You can't compete. Shaq is here, dude. You're not gonna that's Shaq. You don't forget. I love when he disrespects Shaq. Like, that's not Shaq. Bro, I know the history has been told and all this, but that's Shaq, dude. He used to tear courts down. They don't tear courts down anymore.
No, they're not tearing backboards down no more. Which of course, shout out to Shaq. He's getting his number retired by the Orlando Magic.
Shout out my God. See, you guys don't understand in this day that when that Orlando Shaq, I remember having the Shaq jersey. When Blue Chips came out, or was that the movie with him and Nick Nolte? Yeah. Like, he was rapping. Kazam, like Shaq was the guy.
He was the guy, man.
No, he was everywhere.
Next to Penny, I was a big Penny fan.
Oh my God, I was a huge Penny fan. Lil Penny, come on, man. Times are different, you guys. The game was different, but yeah, Shaq. Our friend Tracy says, "Afternoon, boys. Happy New Year. Y'all doing well? I'm in the house today. It's snowing and cold in Chicago. Hi, Reggie. Hello, Tracy. Happy New Year. Love you, my friend. Hope everything is well. It's snowing in Chicago, Philip?
It is snowing. They are saying there's going to be a big snowstorm. Hasn't snowed that bad just yet, but supposedly there's a big.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Ooh, how are you preparing for that? How do you prepare for that? I don't know. 0%. Like, I've been in snow. Like, I went snowboarding like 3 times. It snowed in Bakersfield one time in 1999, and that's all that people in Bakersfield ever talk about. Like, remember that one day in 1999 when the snow randomly happened? So I know 0% about it.
You did your Johnny Tsunami. You went out there and did some snowboarding?
Oh, not out there, but I went to a place that had snow. And yes, shout out Johnny Tsunami.
Classic Disney Channel movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Johnny Tsunami. Rest in peace to the big homie as well, Jet Jackson, man. Put Jet Jackson on Disney Plus.
Yeah, man. What are y'all doing? You know you want to watch.
Why is famous Jet Jackson not on Disney Plus? I don't want to go on a tangent, but yeah, just it's been fine so far. Basically, just staying in, making sure you go and buy things from the store that you need ahead of time, so you don't need to go out.
I just don't understand the process of being trapped. They're like, no, get prepared because you can't leave. I'm like, what, dude?
I mean, you can leave. It's just going to be annoying to travel in the snow.
Right. That's crazy. What a crazy life. Shout out to all my people in Chicago. Shout out to Tracy. Shout out to Phil. Shout out to everybody out there. Hope y'all are safe. It's supposed to be raining today. I don't even want to. It doesn't compare. I'm sorry, you guys. Bragov says, happy Grapsody Day. Waiting for Reg's tweet after Mania about wrestling is all about disappointment. Very curious days leading up to Mania. Look, it's coming, you guys. Like, just be prepared. That Scar from Lion King said.
Yo,
be prepared is all I'm saying.
Be prepared.
Scar was a villain, man. I'll terrorize him. Man with Beard says, man with Beard, that's funny. Australia might be paying the field to send the Rock. Paying the Fed to send the Rock.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I buy it, but we'll see.
This is the Rock. I don't think this is about money.
It was always about money, but I just think.
Well, yeah, but like
that's still my big takeaway is still this is a WrestleMania match, man. Like that's all
I'm saying. Like, I'm sure Australia's probably like, we have all the money in the world, so please send The Rock. But like, we have WrestleMania 40. We can't send The Rock, you guys.
Yeah.
What? Stephen Marcouli says, I can never get your last name right. Please send like a broken down thing because I can't spell it.
Pronunciation.
I can't pronounce anything. Roman versus Rock night 1, Roman versus Cody night 2. See this double? How do you feel about this one night thing? Double up.
This guy has told you he's not wrestling twice a month. And you think this guy's gonna wrestle twice in a weekend?
Bro wrestled like 6 times last year.
I do not see this man wrestling back-to-back nights, buddy.
And like, no, I don't like it.
I'll buy it.
Yeah. Van Twinblade also says Dwayne loses to Roman at Elimination Chamber. He hosts Mania. Nukes Roman from orbit after Cody beats Roman. Rematch in Saudi.
Nah, I don't see it.
You can't. You have to do the match at WrestleMania, you guys. That's it.
Yeah, maybe it will happen in Australia. I just don't buy it.
Right. Shucky Ducky Quack Quack says Karang.
What is it? Kangaroo?
Kangaroo poo candy ass. There you go.
Yeah, kangaroo. Yo,
y'all are getting me crazy
say in
today.
Australia.
Kangaroo.
He's gonna do the kangaroo kick like Max.
That's really funny. Y'all are silly as hell. Tony P says the long-term aftermath of Roman Cody finish is worse than what came after WrestleMania 17 with Austin joining McMahon.
It's close.
It depends on how it is after WrestleMania 40. Like, because this could all be speculation. Like, Cody could finish the story.
Yeah, I still think that you at least got some good things out of Cody since WrestleMania. Like the Brock feud ended up working out because he did get endorsed by Brock. That's a pretty big deal. At least one of those matches was good. I think the stuff they're doing with him and Shinsuke is good. They've done good things with Cody, but it's been a lot of filler.
And it just doesn't have to be WrestleMania 40. That doesn't have to be when he finishes the story. He could still finish the story at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
That's it. Because Roman's not losing the belt to The Rock.
I would imagine he's not, but we don't.
I hope not. That'd be so dumb. When he won it in 2013, I was like, why does The Rock have this championship? This is so dumb.
Yeah. I thought
it's The Rock. He doesn't need that belt. What?
Yeah, that was stupid.
And like, I know he's not going to be here on a consistent weekly basis. Why are you guys showing me this? I just didn't understand it. So don't do it again. Deontay Soignier says Cody finally gets Starcade PLE and beats Roman. Oh man,
it's
Starcade. Trying to do something crazy for Cody.
I just should think he should win at WrestleMania, man.
Our friend Aaron Busby chimes in to say, I know it's just business, but if they push Cody to the side for Dwayne at WrestleMania, it'll be some BS and further proves they should have given him the gosh darn belts last year. Cuss words, cuss words, cuss words. Shout out to Busby.
Yeah, I agree. I think, but I've said many times, I think that Cody should have won. I think that the Roman title reign has been boring for quite some time now.
So long.
But yeah.
Busby also says, don't be surprised if there's a Daniel Bryan like backlash from Cody fans if he isn't main eventing. Yeah, I'm low key mad. Do you think there's a world where Cody fans could revolt?
No, because it's The Rock and
it's The Rock.
It's The Rock and this isn't the same fans. I think like
very
a few
important.
years ago, yes, but I think the fan base has changed. The fan base is on board with most of the things that WWE wants to do because they're a fan of the brand. They're a fan of getting nostalgia pops. They're a fan of the moments. And so I think that there is a sect of the fans that will not like it, but I think the majority of them will be fine with it.
Like even my brain now, when I just said, will fans revolt? They don't revolt anymore. It's not like that anymore.
There's not the same crowd that goes to WWE shows anymore.
Mm-hmm. That crowd is somewhere else.
Yep.
And WWE has 10,000 people in there that are trying to get off. You still got a chance. So.
No, and the casual fans will be here for Roman versus Rock. So I think that they won't care, man. They won't care.
Mm-hmm. Will Chisholm says that Julia report is like you heard your girl is cheating on you, and a week later she say, I want to go on a break.
Yeah, man, watching her say that Donna Del Mondo is no more. It was just like, man, she's really leaving. It's just like I remember her. I remember what a big deal it was when she came to start it from Ice Ribbon. I was covering the whole thing for Bell to Bells, and just covering just like everything with Julia. Julia was like the biggest signing for Stardom that year, and just the run that she's been on. It's just wild to think about her not being there, but I knew it was only a matter of time before she ended up in the U.S. And the
Yeah,
reports
so
are kind of saying that she wants to get she wants to learn more English and she wants to really like make a go at it. So I'm not really shocked.
good for her. I'm sure she's getting a very big bag over there in NXT. We'll get into it a little bit more too. Tony P says, "Why stupid people coming for Mox for doing the entrance he wanted to do, and what was different from the gas mask bit that knowing it was a disingenuous stuff."
Yeah, I just think that was WWE fans being stupid.
Yeah,
Well, I shouldn't say WWE fans. I shouldn't generalize. I think
no.
that a sect of WWE fans were being stupid. It was very clear that he was doing a cosplay. I don't know why people, and that was another one of those things that blew my mind when I saw it. I was like, he is very much Jason Todd. Like when you look at it, like he's with three other guys that were technically if you're looking at three guys that were Robins, the other two guys have black hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that is redhead. He's the one that had to go away and be a villain and all these other things. He's Jason Todd. When they put that clip of him talking to Shingo in the background of Dragon Gate and Shingo slapped him, I was like, he's really Jason Todd. Like I have not seen this entire time. His entire character arc is Jason Todd.
Yeah, shout out to Mox. I thought that entrance was really dope. Shame Monster says, "Salute to Captain Dean for Kennedy Hardcastle on Rampage last night, and Statlander simping Stoke is a new perfect thing. Thicker than a Snickers."
Yeah, no, all of that was very, very funny. I keep saying it, man. Put Stokely on TV as much as possible, man. This guy is hilarious.
It seems like this is leading to something. Let's continue it. Jonathan Contreras says, "What if you do Cody versus Priest for the briefcase and Cody cashes in after the Roman Rock match?"
I don't know. I think that would suck for Priest. I don't know, man.
Priest is cashing in on Cody anyway, so I mean on Rollins anyway, so it doesn't. I don't really.
I don't know. I think they do have to figure out what they're doing with the briefcase soon, though. Like the continuous fake outs are not doing it for me.
I don't want it. Wraith says, "But the fact that Dwayne is in the main event of WrestleMania and I'm not makes me sick."
That's of course the CM Punk quote from the podcast. Again, it just still it's still funny, man. It's still funny that Punk is back there, and after all this time, nothing has changed.
Nothing will ever change. Some things say it's ironic, honestly. It's fitting. That's all of our super chats for now. Appreciate y'all.
Check in.
The Rock. I did not think we were going to be coming onto this pod this week talking about The Rock, but I'm not surprised.
Hey, man, life comes at you fast, man. Life comes at you real fast, man. Waiting for our Humper Chats to pop up. Again, you can send us your Humper Chats at humperchat.com/Fightful.
Before we get off of Roman, how do you feel about this match that they booked for Royal Rumble?
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think I thought at first it was going to be a one-on-one match, but I like it. I like the idea of doing the fatal four-way. I think it makes it more believable that Roman can lose. I still don't think he's going to, but I still think it's more believable at this point that somebody else can get pinned and he could lose without having to get pinned. I don't think that that's what they should do.
Is there any, shout out to the homeboy Will Washington, any percentage in the world that you think someone could pin someone else and leave with this championship?
No, I still think Roman's going to win. But I do think it adds some intrigue to the match.
Yeah, I think it does too. Shout out to all the guys in it. I think everybody's looking really strong going into this match.
Let's see.
And not strong like AJ and Randy.
JK, I'm going to save your Humper Chat, and I'm going to come back to it when we talk about Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Got from Tony P. He says, so we're all in agreement that Katt won in this week, right? I mean, A dress clause, a damn dress clause. Even Unc wasn't safe. Told him you have an unnatural alliance with loser. And it's not like you. Yeah, there were several parts here where he threw a few jabs at Shannon. I don't think he realized were jabs. I definitely laughed when he was talking about Steve and he was like, "Man, this country bumpkin." I'm like, "You're talking to a country
I'm
bumpkin."
like, you're saying that to. Do you know who you're saying this to? That's Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. But yeah, very, very, very funny interview.
Like a part of Shannon's charm is he's a country bumpkin and he brings it out on places he shouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why the Steve interview went as well as it did, because they could connect on that level. From D-Lo Diggs, he says, man, I can't watch the Kings of Comedy the same no more. Katt Williams let out a full year of anger. Also the New Japan fans made me love Wrestle Kingdom a lot. Only 6 days in the year. Wrestling is cooking. Also, Stoke was a fool with his Chris intro. Absolutely. Yeah. Every year, Wrestle Kingdom, it's hard for me to not get excited every year for Wrestle Kingdom. I think it's the best event of the year. It's just special. Even if it's not a great card, it's certain energy from seeing wrestling in the dome.
Something
just the
about
way
it.
that New Japan presents wrestling. It's my favorite event of the year.
Wrestle Kingdom.
See, Tony P says, Raw has some great matches. My only issue is that it's still 3 hours long with a lot of filler in it, which is why I like SmackDown more. I felt Monet wasn't coming this week if AEW got her. Daily Place is their MSG. Makes the most sense. Raw is just too long, man. Even when I enjoy Raw, I a lot of times sitting there like,
It's so long.
this is too long. 3 hours is just too long. A lot of
Sometimes
times,
I'll check out the California feed that starts at 8, and by like 9:45, I'm like, there's an hour more of this. What are y'all doing?
yeah, that's why a lot of times I end up watching the Hulu version, because it's condensed, and so I can just get all of the beats that I want out of it. And if there's something I missed, I can just go and find it and watch it.
Right.
But 3 hours of wrestling sometimes is just too long.
It's a lot.
It's not too long, but what it is it's too long for weekly wrestling, because you
Yeah.
have so much filler in that 3 hours. From Nelson Muntz, probably all the same names from a decade ago that will be a part of the main event at this year's Mania, except for Cody, Roman, CM Punk, Orton, Cena, The Rock, Rollins, and Brock. Be sure Paul Levesque is a great booker in WWE. Ha. I mean, the one person you're wrong about that is CM Punk, because he never got a WrestleMania main event.
Yep.
But yeah, it is interesting to think about that this is 2023 and we're talking about a lot of the same names being in the main event picture. I don't know how to feel about that.
It's interesting.
It's definitely interesting.
It's the good. I mean, it's like The Rock and Stone Cold, so it's like the good parts about it, but it's still like we're still doing this. The legend comes, he didn't work all year, and he gets the main event match. It's like we're still in the same place.
Yeah, I was happy that Owens got a moment like that. The fact that Kevin Owens has main evented 2 years in a row is cool.
Oh my guy!
But yeah.
And he still has the PWG remix thing on his tights. I saw him like, man, I love this guy. He's so cool.
Yeah. Never let anybody lie to you about Kevin Owens.
Never.
From Wong, he says, good day, Grapsody fellas. Strange start to Wrestle Kingdom, but the show really picked up with the Tama Tonga Shingo match, and the crowd reaction to Ospreay and Naito were nuts. The New Year's Dash set up some cool stuff going forward. Zack Sabre Jr., Danielson, let's go.
Phil, what the hell's going on with Tama Tonga? Why is he? They gave him the belt, and he said, as I was walking to the back, I figured out I was leaving. I was like, that's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, let's get into Wrestle Kingdom, and we can just hit all of those topics at once without having to like go back and re-talk about things. I agree with Wong. It did start kind of strange.
Yeah.
It started. We got the the Rumble style match for the King of Pro Wrestling. Of course, you know you're going to get the Yano shenanigans like we do every year. Great Khan was involved. All kind of the same people were involved. And then you got the finals coming out of that match. But that's usually on the pre-show. I did feel like, again, watching this, that there was a spot that you could have put a women's match on this card.
Oh yeah,
and it kind of sucked that we didn't get anybody from Stardom here. Maya Iwatani was on commentary at one point. Stardom had the show right before Wrestle Kingdom.
She was there,
and she was there doing commentary. So it's like, why didn't you just do an IWGP women's match on this card? I just didn't really understand that, but it is what it is. We opened with the tag team title match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. We got Catch 22 taking on the Bullet Club War Dogs. TJP came out dressed up like a vampire from I forgot the name of it, but it's like a Filipino folklore that he was dressed up of, which is basically like a vampire or a shapeshifter. It was a very odd way to start the show with that match. It was a fine match. It was very passable for me, but I kind of felt like Drilla and Clark were gonna retain. Clark still got that fire theme song. Every time I hear it, I'm like, this is fire. I saw somebody. That's what it is. It's an Oswang. That's what it's pronounced. Oswang. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Catch 22 won here. Of course, they were the winner of the junior tag lead this year. They went on to Wrestle Kingdom to win the junior heavyweight tag titles. Then we got the aforementioned match, Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Zack Sabre Jr. for the television title. It was a fun sprint, but to close the match the way that it did was like kind of an abrupt surprise pin, and I was like, Zack Sabre Jr. has had this phenomenal title run, and that's how you end his title run, with having him take like this quick pin after like an 8-minute match. I was but it's the president, so
that's even worse. Why did he do this? Zack Sabre Jr., like you said, has had this tremendous run. He's been beating guys, and I mean, like the story of, it's not the craziest because the story of that title is the short matches. All of this
time limit draw, time limit matches,
but it's like all of that after this, just to a little sprint, and then he loses to the president of the company. Is like, all right, it's maybe time for him to lose it. I've seen a lot of people saying it, but not. I don't think this way.
This way was a weird way to get the title off of Zack, but Tanahashi is your new television champion. We got the Matt Riddle tease the next day at New Year Dash. Matt Riddle will be coming again to take part, and it looks like, into some New Japan Strong matches, and he will be challenging Tanahashi eventually. We're not sure where, but of course that sparked a lot of people being upset with New Japan for bringing in Matt, because Matt has some allegations attached to his name, and then of course the controversial way that he left WWE. Wasn't the most fun headline to talk about out of this weekend.
I hate anytime something. I hate just like a little black eye on what otherwise was a great show. It's like everything's going great, but then everybody's talking of the timelines all talking about Matt Riddle, and it's like, man, I wish they just didn't show this full so we wouldn't be talking about this.
I wish.
Like, what the hell's going on here?
I never felt like he was done with wrestling. I knew somebody was going to work with him. He, of course, showed up in the MLW tees as well. I knew he wasn't going to be completely done with wrestling, but what are you going to do?
It's like, we shouldn't be surprised that there's still terrible people in wrestling.
Absolutely not surprised at all. We got Yu Uemura taking on Yota Tsuji. I continue to say Tsuji is hot, man. This guy is going to have a strong 2024. And as such, I was very much surprised that Yu pinned him here and pulled an upset. I thought it was a fun match, but I did not expect Uemura to win this match.
Pretty surprising. But I think it just kind of shows the future of what they have. They got two really strong wrestlers going into the future, like, who you think is going to be the guy. They're like, no, we got a couple of guys that are going to be the guy. I think it's really strong showing for what's going to go on here in 2024.
Yeah, and I think it's fine. I think that Tsuji will be fine. He's got the fans behind him. Yuya needed to win more.
Yep.
So I was fine with it, but I was very much stunned when it happened. Like, wait a minute.
Stunned in a good way, not like the Tanahashi thing.
Yeah. But it does fit what Wanga said, that the start of this match was very strange. Start of the show was very strange. That 3 matches in a row where I was just like, oh, okay. Uh, I said on Twitter that every year I eat Flaming Hots during Wrestle Kingdom, because the first ever Wrestle Kingdom I watched, I had Flaming Hots, and so it's become like this yearly tradition. And I'm old, so I only eat Flaming Hots like once a year. So, because I figured this out last year when I was doing it, I was like, boy, my stomach hurts, man. I cannot eat Flaming Hots and this terrible junk food like I used to. But I was sitting there and I was like, I like literally put the bag down and everything. Like, wait a minute, what?
He said I put the
Hold
bag
on.
down.
Hold on. But yeah, this was a very fun match, man. Tsuji's got a strong future ahead of him.
Future IWGP World Champ is crazy.
Yeah, we got the House of Torture match, which Evil and Ren Narita took on Shota Umino and Kaito Kiyomiya in a tag team match. After this, wasn't a very long match. Shota lost here after Shota had a very cool entrance, came out on a motorcycle, but then he proceeded to lose to Ren Narita when he hit him with the push-up bar. This was very much not for me, but I guess this is the way to keep the Ren and Shota feud going, but I did not enjoy this at all.
The most fitting name of all time, Phil, I swear. House of Torture. Every time I'm like, that name just works every time because it's always torture.
Yeah, I like what they're doing with Ren and Shota. I think they have a very good feud that could go for years. You could see that they believe in Shota. You can see Shota being a guy going forward, and Ren being a foil for him moving forward is cool. I just wish he wasn't in the stable. But to Wanga's point, the show very much picked up when we got Tama Tonga versus Shingo Takagi for the never open weight championship. Coming into this match, I was like, it's probably going to be okay. Boy, this match up to this point was the best match so far.
Big
These
boys.
guys went at it. Shingo is Shingo. He's one of the best in the world, so I knew he was going to bring it. But if this was Tama Tonga's last match in the Dome for the foreseeable future, he brought it. He brought it in his last performance. I think this was one of his best matches in a long time.
Yeah.
The splash he did off the top rope, just some of the counters he got in this match, really, really good match from start to finish.
In this climate, this is going to sound really crazy to say. I think Shingo might be the most underrated pro wrestler in the whole world, just because he is like, he could be the best wrestler in the whole world. Like, he's had the matches, we've seen it, but like the field is so crazy, and he's in a company with Okada and Will Ospreay and all these guys that people don't see what they should see in Shingo. But a match like this is like, don't get Shingo fucked up. He can rock the world. And we're a little bit forward. The next day, they announced that Jon Moxley and Shingo are going to wrestle in San Jose next week. So,
yeah, that was, of course, the two talking points coming out of this match. Tama Tonga won here, which surprised a lot of people because we got the news afterwards that Tama Tonga only has a month left on his contract and he's planning to leave New Japan before the end of the year. So he lost his match here. I was very confused by that.
I feel like we had the same thing last year. Like, is Tama Tonga gonna leave? And they were like, maybe. And then they gave him the belt, and they were like, wait, what? Like, this feels like deja vu for some reason.
Yeah, I was very much confused by this. They set up Evil versus Tama Tonga on New Year Dash, so I'm assuming Evil's probably going to be the guy that takes the never open weight title off of him.
Yeah.
Evil chopped off some of Tama Tonga's hair in the ending of this match as well. But yeah, very good match. Tama Tonga wins here. Shingo's going to go on and have a fire match with Mox at Battle of the Valley next week. Then we got the winner take all match for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship and a strong open weight tag team. You got the GOD team of El Fantasma and Hikuleo taking on Bishamon. Bishamon is one of the most underrated tag teams in the world, in my opinion. They don't come out and do anything crazy flashy, but they always find a way to have like interesting matches that keep you invested. I was very impressed with Hikuleo in this match. I thought that he came out of this looking very strong for a big man. I thought LP is one of those guys that's always going to do cool things, and he's thriving as a baby face. I think since the G1, he's got that crowd on his side. He's had a lot of good character moments since then. This felt like the no-brainer for me. Pretty much figured going into this the God was going to win. But yeah, I was more impressed with this match than I expected to be.
Yeah, Hikuleo has been such a big improvement, I think, over these last couple of years. Like initially, I was like, okay, this is just a big guy that's big. He does a choke slam, that's cool. But I think, just kind of being thrown into the fire of all the New Japan stuff, I think he's improved tremendously. And pairing him with LP, I think, is such a great thing. LP, I think this year is going to be an interesting prospect because he announced that his contract is up, or there's some things coming up soon, or something going on here, and potentially he could be doing some things. I think that he is another super underrated talent in New Japan. Like that's what's great about Wrestle Kingdom and the Dome is like after so much news and reports and everything comes out after it, because people are like waiting to tell after the big event. So it's such a good week, a good fun week of wrestling.
Yeah, LP is one of my favorite wrestlers at the moment. He's got a ton of charisma, very, very funny guy.
Yeah.
I think just the year of him doing that socks gimmick where he's coming out with the socks, him doing the loaded boot thing for a while. I very much wanted him to be leader of Bullet Club at one point. I thought he was going to take over when Jay White left, but serves me right because leaving has been great for him because he's just got too much charisma to be a heel. You just want to cheer the guy. I think making him a babyface was the right move.
Right.
We got I think the last stretch of the show was flawless.
Yes.
I think like every match delivered. I knew Hiromu versus Despy was going to deliver because these two guys always deliver when they're paired together. This was different than their other matches. It wasn't like the high flying sprint stuff. It was more of like a grounded match. But my takeaway was that Desperado has learned something from every single one of their matchups.
Yeah.
And so he came into this trying to counter every time he went for the time bomb and going for like the submissions to keep him grounded so he couldn't come out and do the big high flying moves. Really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, I think that coming into this, I kind of expected, you would usually expect this match in the Wrestle Kingdom show to be because there's usually like a multi-man match or something when it's the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So you kind of expect the spot food, the crazy stuff. And it wasn't really that. It was more, like you said, a grounded match. But I think, Desperado, I love the contrast of all of his matches. And sometimes you'll get like the high flying, sometimes you'll get death match, sometimes you'll get this grounded submission-based game. I think the positions that they put him in has shown that he could really swim in these positions. And I thought some people were complaining about this match online because they were like, we've seen these people together collectively have these really amazing matches. And this wasn't that. I just think it was just different. And they wanted to present something because they knew what was coming soon in the card,
Yeah, I think it was time to take the belt off Hiromu. I really wish it would have been Leo that beat him. I really wish that they would have had some fresh matchups for Hiromu by now. But I think this match delivered for what it was. I wasn't the most excited coming into the card for this match, but it's Wrestle Kingdom. Seeing Despy come out with the black and red gear, the cornrows and everything. Hiromu's going to come out with an even crazier jacket every year and ring gear, and he did not disappoint. He had a great entrance. I just can't say enough about how much I enjoy watching these two guys wrestle, and this was a fun match. Up to this point, before we got blown out of the water with one of the best matches ever, I thought that the IWGP Global Heavyweight title match was the best match up to this point. These three guys killed it. Will Ospreay came out and got a great reception in his last Tokyo Dome appearance for the foreseeable future. Came out and did the Assassin's Creed entrance. I thought all of that was cool. Then when he came out and he got down to got on the turnbuckle and he did the usual Ospreay chant, and the crowd was cheering it. Just magical stuff, man.
Fire.
Really, really cool to see him get that appreciation because we've seen him do so many cool things, seen him have so many great moments and matches in the Dome. This was such a fitting farewell to him. I figured he wasn't going to win the match, but this was just such a great moment for him.
Yeah, I
Mox
think that that entrance, especially in conjunction with him, this could potentially be one of his last Dome matches for a while. He's going to AEW. We all kind of know that. I think having that with the crowd chanting Ospreay along with that was so fitting, and I bet you like he feels so accomplished of what he did in New Japan. Like that was like, oh my god, everything that I did was worth it. It's crazy, just like a little moment of these Japanese fans showing appreciation to you. It's like so dope, man.
Yeah, loved it. Mox, of course, like we said, came out with the red hood gear on. Then we had Finlay with the white gear on. Finlay started this match by proceeding to get his ass whooped by these two men for the start of this match. Then we got some.
He's been gift as on the table with his
Yeah.
with his ass out. That shit's so funny, man.
Then we got the one-on-one stuff with Mox and Ospreay, which kind of a tie back to their Windy City Riot match. Really, really fire stuff.
So
Those
good.
guys were going at it.
We're gonna be
Mox,
seeing this on TV, Phil. This is crazy.
yeah, Mox is at the top of his game, but Ospreay is Ospreay. They were just going crazy at one point. By the time Finlay does get back into this match, he has some good spots as well. Then they proceed to beat him down again. Then we got Bullet Club shenanigans. As you said, Coughlin came out and got thrown through a table. We got him dangling halfway through a table, which has been gifted. Really, really funny stuff. We got a Nemes Brothers appearance during this match, which I did not expect.
I didn't expect this at all.
Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler, came down with Brian, and they were sitting ringside on commentary for this match. That kind of played into the aftermath of the match. We got a really good closing stretch with this. Where I thought all three of these guys looked really good. Really felt like this was one of the best matches of the night.
Definitely the result. I'm like, yeah, of course, this is kind of what needs to be happening. It's Ospreay and Moxley over there. Like, what do you expect to happen? But yeah, I thought triple threat matches are so hard. They're continuously one of the hardest matches to book because there's the immediate need to knock one guy out and then two guys just work. When they could kind of implement in the strategy of Mox and Ospreay kind of just double teaming Finlay, I thought was a really good thing. And yeah, the aftermath of Dolph is here. He's challenging for the championship. He's fighting. I was like, I've talked about this before. I thought for a long time, like Dolph was just, on cruise control in WWE. I'm rightfully so. I'm sure they didn't put him in the best position, but I'm sure he's just making money doing this thing. I'm like, if he gets the opportunity to leave here, I think him being in New Japan would be super interesting. And here he is, Wrestle Kingdom with his brother, of course, there along his side. I tweeted, I said, every time I can't think of seeing them together. They're about to leave. Dolph Ziggler puts on his leather jacket. He gets his coffee. He's about to leave the house, and he just hears, "Don't forget to take your brother." And he's like, "No, Mom, I don't want to take my brother. I can't. Like, Mom, we're going. Like, he's young. He's little. We're going to the mall. I can't take it. You better take your brother. You better put him on a jacket." That's what it felt like. My brother has to come too, you guys.
Yeah, I definitely laughed at the New Japan account putting the clip up and tagging Dolph, and did not tag Ryan in this thing at all. I was like, wow. But yeah, as you said, Finlay ended up winning here, ended up stealing the win. Afterwards, he got in Dolph's face on the way out, and that seems to be leading toward them having a one-on-one match at some point. Dolph jumped him in the press conference, and he proceeded to challenge him for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. Really, really pretty belt as well. I thought,
yeah.
I thought coming into this, like, what are they going to do with this? They have so many belts, but really pretty looking belt. Can't go wrong with a white strap. The white straps on the new heavyweight tag titles is cool as well. Well, I'm sorry, the junior tag title matches. Yeah, can't go wrong with a white strap. But was not on my bingo card. Dolph Ziggler going to Japan. But yeah, Dolph's going to be on the card next week as well for Battle of the Valley. He's got a mystery tag partner and a tag team match. Don't know what to make of that, but I'm interested. Wrestling is cool right now. It just feels like anything can happen. Anybody can just show up at some place, and I think that's really, really cool for the fans. Man, I don't think that this is an exaggeration in any way, but Bryan Danielson versus Okada was the best match, probably one of the best matches I've seen ever. Like, this was amazing. This is everything I wanted the Forbidden Door the match to be and more. This was Bryan getting to wrestle in the dome, just the magic of seeing him in the dome, seeing how excited he was about being in the dome. Okada coming out and having that amazing entrance with the color changing jacket. He's on this Beyonce Revolution joint. Um, this was man, can't say enough great things about this match. This was incredible.
Phil, you know, after AEW Dynamite and watching Darby Allin and Takeshita tear it down, have one of the best TV matches of all time at this point, like going from that to like, okay, Wrestle Kingdom's later tonight. Bryan Danielson and Okada are gonna wrestle on that. That's probably gonna be a really good match. Like they're like it's been built up. The Forbidden Door match was fun. I liked it a lot. Like it'll probably be good. They get to this match and you know the term dream match has been thrown out a lot. It's a regular occurrence now. They announce indie dream matches every week. Every match is a dream match, and a lot of times it's not. It's just a tagline. This is an actual dream match. The best American wrestler for a lot of years against the best Japanese wrestler for a lot of years in Okada's. This is his bread and butter. He built his legacy in this dome on this night, being the best wrestler in the world. All the elements. He comes out. He has a color. I still don't know. Like my eyes are still like, what happened here? Like I said, did somebody give me 3D glasses to watch it? Like, how did his change on TV? What the hell's going on here? He's out here doing magic in 3D. But regardless of that, they get to this fucking match, Phil, and Bryan Danielson, like I said, is the most Bryan Danielson you've ever seen him. Like he's like the happiness is exuding out of him from his entrance to everything. He just smiling. He just can't help himself. It just looks like this guy's really happy to be here. But then when the bell rang and he's like vicious, trying to rip Okada's arm out of his socket, he forced Okada into being a bully. Okada was like, I'm in the dome. I'm at home. I'm cruising. I got this dope ass gear on. You got that busted eye. I'm not going to really like kill you out here. But Bryan Danielson was beating this guy's ass, trying to rip his arm out the socket, forced Okada to become bully Okada, that fool that had the red hair for a little bit, ripped off his eye, and just the work that they did. I thought the selling that Okada did in this is why this is the best wrestler in the world. Like, they should have passed the moniker on of Ace onto Okada. At some point, Tanahashi and Okada should have had one of their matches, and like the winner of this is the Ace, because Okada really is the ace of New Japan. Like when you think of New Japan, the fucking big dog around here is Okada, and the performance that he put on here is why. Yeah. Bryan Danielson was trying to do everything in his arsenal to kill this man, and SP3 brought up a good point. He's like, the first Rainmaker was just Okada trying to get Bryan Danielson away from him. Like he's just like, get away from me, dude. Like stop. Like you're a little pest. You won't stop kicking and punching me and grabbing me and putting me in these crazy submissions. I have to kill you. Like this match was just everything you would hope for in a heavyweight Wrestle Kingdom match. The best versus the best. I thought the ending was correct. I thought everything about this was awesome. Bryan, the fucking yes chants with the crowd. It's like, this is crazy, man. Like Bryan Danielson was retired at one point. Never thought we would get this match. He's always talked about working the dome. He's always talked about working Okada. All the elements came together, Phil. And like you said, one of the best matches in history happened.
Man, seriously, one of the best matches I've ever seen.
Man.
It's just something, like I said, it's just something special about Wrestle Kingdom. And you know that most years with Wrestle Kingdom, because of his track record at this point, that Okada's going to give you one of the greatest matches of the weekend.
Easy.
And him coming out and hearing the coin drop and getting the big pop, and then him going, no, stop. Cutting all the music and everything, getting the UV lights, changing the colors, and then proceeding to walk down a ramp. I don't care how many times I see it every year. just that image of him, from behind of him walking down the ramp with the Okada Bucks raining down on him.
Yeah.
It just looks like the coolest thing ever. Every time I see it, this guy is just one of the coldest wrestlers in the world.
Straight
Like
up.
it just never gets old to me. And him proceeding to wrestle the guy
He's
that I think,
badass, man. Okada is like, dude, fuck, man. He is awesome.
yeah, proceeding to have one of a match with the guy that I think is the GOAT, and Brian, like you said, just being in full Brian form, coming with the stiff strikes, the kicks, coming with the crazy psycho knees, the holds, like you said, trying to rip this guy's arm off. There were several spots with the arm where he was targeting his arm, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't think your arm is supposed to be bending this way.
You should do that. No.
Yeah, just very, very violent.
Yo, the counters to get into the finish, it's like, what are y'all doing, dude? How are y'all working at this pace and countering each other and getting into these positions? I'm like, this is a master class in professional wrestling. This is like, what's expert level pro wrestling right here? Here it is. And Okada's done, like, before this day, I'm like, if somebody's like, play me a wrestling match, what is pro wrestling? I'm going to play Okada and Kenny Omega. Like, this guy does it. Like, he knows pro wrestling at the highest level. And just to see it on display all the time like this against Bryan Danielson, it's so cool, man. We're so lucky.
Great storytelling, like you said. I enjoyed the Forbidden Door match, but it felt like it never really got into that second gear that it needed to. It was still a good match, but it just still felt like
it was something.
It wasn't enough. And of course, then we learned that Brian was hurt. He had broken his arm in a match, and that of course gave to why the match felt like it had such an abrupt ending. It felt like there was so much more they could have done with that match, but man, this match was just such a great sequel. It was such a great follow up to it. Having Brian be upset that he won that match, but also he broke his arm in the process. Like, nah, I'm coming back for everything. I'm not just going to beat you. I'm going to break your fucking arm. And he was very much true to form this entire match, trying to punish this man and trying to beat him down and tear away at that arm the entire match. Like you said, Okada's selling was fantastic throughout the match. The storytelling between him and Brian was fantastic. Selling the eye at several points when he started beating him down in the corner when he ripped the patch off. Really, really good. You always know that the last maybe 10 or 20 minutes of the Okada match is going to be really the best part of the match of the night. And this stuff, the counters between them was just amazing. Everything that Okada had to do, like I said, to fight and claw to get back in control. And then he went into kind of that mode that Kaito sent him in when Kaito kicked him last year.
Yes.
And he was just like, nah, I'm just gonna have to beat this guy's ass.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, wait, we're in the Tokyo Dome and this guy's disrespecting me, I think.
No, I can't just have a match with this guy. This isn't like anything else. I'm just gonna have to beat this guy's ass. And just seeing how the shift in his energy and how he got more and more aggressive in the match.
Like, he felt like he was happy to be there at the beginning. Like, oh, we're in Brian. We're going to have this nice match with Brian. No, this guy's trying to kill me, man. I need to get out of here.
Yeah, you could definitely feel like he was still looking at this like, this is a dream exhibition match. This is in the Dome. I'm at home. We're just going to have a fun match. And Brian very much came into this match like he was trying to get his revenge after that second match, and he was like, oh no, this is personal at this point, so I got to take it to that energy.
No, this guy is really trying to hurt me, I think.
Yeah, once he took it to that level, you could see that Brian couldn't keep up anymore.
That's what it was.
When he was in the corner, and you could see he was trying to get the crowd to come with him, and he was doing the yes chant, and he was trying to soak in the moment of not just being excited to wrestle in the Dome, but also trying to cling on to, can I beat this guy? This guy is just a step better than me. Yeah. And the answer is no, you cannot, because Okada.
It's Okada in the Dome. Nobody beats Okada.
It's Okada at home. Yeah. It's just different. Okada finished this guy off with a Rainmaker. Very, very good closing stretch of this match. I'm probably going to end up watching this match again sometime this weekend. I do not think it is an exaggeration to say this is one of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen. It's going to go down as an instant classic. Amazing match. We got so many cool things coming out of it. We got the New Year Dash of Okada and Brian teaming up with Mox and Ishii.
Teaming up, yeah.
We got that super team of them. That was really, really cool. We got a lot of really cool things from New Year Dash this year. I think sometimes New Year Dash started to feel disappointing because it didn't feel like anything really of note happened. Getting Okada teaming up with Omega last year was cool, and then getting a one up of it this year with the team up we got this year was really cool. But yeah, everything about this match was great. Just
This match.
seeing a guy that we thought was never going to wrestle again get to live out his dream of wrestling in Japan, and getting that moment of respect from Okada at the end of them bowing each other. I was tearing up for him because I was just so happy for him. Just a really, really good moment.
Yeah, I think I keep looking down at my phone because I want to make the declaration on this date. But every time I look at the date, I'm like, what? Because it's January 6th. Every time I'm like, oh shit, it's January 6th. Like, yo, there's some crazy connotation, some things connected to that. But I want to make the declaration on January 6th, 2024, after this year, after 2023, and after this match. I've been saying this guy's the greatest wrestler of our generation, putting quotation marks. There's not this wrestler. This guy is the greatest wrestler of all time. Bring anybody that you want. When the bell rings, nobody in history has been better than Bryan fucking Danielson. This guy has so many classics. This guy is so good on from bell to bell, on offense, on defense. He can get you. He got Okada sympathy. Okada's the fucking man, the baddest wrestler in the world. He don't need no sympathy at this point. He got him sympathy in a goddamn Tokyo Dome match. This guy can do anything in the world. This match was amazing. This display was amazing. Okada is the ace of the world. He showed you why he is one of the greatest IWGP champions of all time. This was everything, Phil. I loved it.
Yeah, amazing match. This could have easily been the end of the show, and I would have left out all of this happy with what we got out of Wrestle Kingdom. Like I said, we got more on New Year's Dash. We got Bryan and Okada and Ishii and Mox taking on TMDK, and then we got Zack Sabre Jr. trash talking my man because he wants his rematch from last year, and Bryan heading out of the ring and telling him, I'm gonna tap your motherfucking ass out.
The most glaring thing out of Bryan, okay, amazing match. We all talked about that. The most glaring thing I've got out of this weekend, Bryan Danielson loves to say the F word. He couldn't wait to get it off when he said that. And then even in the promo afterwards, you could just see like the little smirk on, too. The promo was insane. But the little smirk on his face at the end where he's like, how about it's like he's just so excited. He's like a little kid that's let off the leash, like, oh, you can cuss now, our parents are gone. He's just like so excited, so enthusiastic, like so good stuff. Such good stuff, man.
We're back to Sicko Bryan. He can hit you as hard as he wants. He can get all of his holds in. He can do some bleeding. Yeah. He can curse now. This is incredible, man. I loved every second of it. Him cutting that promo after the big 8-man match. That promo. Man, if you were not hyped after watching that promo, man, I don't know what to tell you. Very much hyped for the rematch with Zack Sabre.
I thought they were going to announce that for Battle in the Valley, too. I was like, oh, I'm about to cry, but they got me.
We don't know when we're getting that match yet, but
Zack Sabre Jr. said come back to Japan, so
I think that's interesting. I do think we'll see Bryan in Japan again in 2024. It'll probably be for that match.
And that's crazy. If the rematch to Okada was like that, imagine what the rematch with Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be for what they did at Wrestle Dream. Like,
but yeah, out of that, we're getting Ospreay versus Okada at Battle of the Valley as well,
which is nuts.
Like I said, we are getting Shingo versus Mox as well. A lot of good matches on that card. We're getting Julia versus Trish Adora on that card as well. Very good card coming into Battle of the Valleys in San Diego.
Wow, San Jose,
sorry, San Diego.
Rocky, send me the link. Somebody send me the Rocky link. I ain't got that minute. Yeah, there's one match on the show on it.
Main event. I thought after an instant classic like that, it would have been easy for the crowd to be tired and for this match to underdeliver. No, Naito got the biggest pop of the night. That crowd was thunderous for Naito. If you were one of those people that felt like Bryan and Okada should have got the main event, you were wrong.
This proved it.
This was Naito's moment. Naito's been trying to prove this for years. I mean, the thing that made Naito is getting outvoted and losing his main event that year. And he went away, went on
This
this
was fitting.
came back, started the LIJ, and just everything after that, losing to Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, coming back and beating Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, and getting his moment stolen from him from Kenta. Everything that he's gone through led to this moment, standing across the ring with somebody that he helped to build up in Sonata. Sonata came into this very unpopular with some fans.
Yeah.
But I thought this was incredible. Just the reaction, the investment from the crowd in this match. It was magical, man. Like it was emotional. It was very emotional to watch.
Yeah, it felt like kind of the perfect fitting ending. I think like it felt more important that it came after that Okada match. Like like he's had to follow Okada his whole career, and having to follow Okada and do that and execute. And the crowd loves Naito so much, man. Like,
Yeah.
what a build up, what a journey. Like, this is how you build somebody from scratch to being the biggest wrestler in your company, and the crowd believes it, and it's all like that's how you execute everything. I'm so happy for Naito. I think coming into this show, we were all so excited about Bryan and Okada, but there was a big set of fans that were like, oh no, it's Naito's moment. We're here to see Naito win this championship. So I thought it was like a perfect execution and perfect ending to the show.
Yeah, I mean, I knew after the G1, I was excited for the run he went on in the G1, seeing him win in the finals, and I was just like, oh, it's his time. It just the story stuff they're doing with Sonata, it just made too much sense. And just like everything they're doing, him coming down clean as always, with the suit game on point, with the tote bag, all of that was great. It seemed like Sonata got injured at some point in this match. It seemed like he was favoring his shoulder a little bit or something. I can't confirm, but it seemed like he did. That made the match a little bit sluggish at times, a little bit sloppy. But I thought it added to the tension of the match because you could tell how much Sonata was desperately trying to cling to his spot, and you could just feel it wasn't his moment, but he was trying so hard to prove that it was. If you're one of those Sonata detractors, I think Sonata did a lot in this match to prove people wrong. The Sonata character in LIJ, of him being the cold skull guy and the guy that didn't emote, him being the guy that dressed great, he was too cool for school, he don't do none of that emoting. And so when you have him in this match emoting story-wise, and after the match the way it did, it added so much to it. And for Naito to get his moment with Sonata, it just added so much more. I thought the counters in this were crazy. Some of those counters, because again, Sonata was desperately trying to stay away from the Destino. He landed this Destino at one point, and he couldn't roll over in time to pin him. Man, that final stretch, man, I was just like, I don't know, man. Is he gonna lose this match? Don't do this to us, Gato.
No, he couldn't.
But Sonata ended up coming out on top. Really good finish. Really good way to cap off Wrestle Kingdom. Seeing Sonata get his moment. Gato could not help himself. Sent out House of Torture and Evil to scare us again. I audibly yelled no in my in my house, like, no, don't do this. But of course that led to Sonata coming out again, baby facing himself and helping Naito get his moment, shooing Evil off, because Evil deserves to get shooed off. Get out of here.
Shoot five, don't bother me.
Shoo, get out of here, Evil. Sonata helped him get out of here, and as Sonata was walking out, Naito gave him his moment and highlighted, because of course the build coming into this match is Naito tearing this guy down and going, you're not this guy, you can't carry the spot, and I'm going to take it away from you. But after the match, he showed his respect to him again and gave it up to Sonata, and Sonata was overwhelmed, broke down into tears. It almost made me cry too, because it was just such an emotional moment, because you don't see him emote. And so it's just really, really cool seeing Naito finally get the roll call in the Tokyo Dome, finishing the story. Amazing way to end the night. Very, very fun show. Started a little bit shaky, but overall, great show.
They executed it, I think, how they needed to do. What do you think Naito's title run looks like this time around as compared to the first time?
I don't think he's gonna have a long run. I think the story of him going for the title was always better than the run. He's more of a chaser every time.
He is.
but I think this is setting up for him to have like a solid run, because I don't think his run last time was bad, but it was just during the pandemic, so
Yeah,
it was kind of tarnished by
it was
that.
like the Drew McIntyre run.
Yeah, he did have that cool run on the baseball field, win on the baseball field against Evil, where you got that cool visual of him doing the fist bump on with the fireworks in the background. That used to be my that used to be my home screen on my phone. I thought this was amazing. Very, very emotional night by the end, with Brian getting his moment, Naito finally getting his moment. Really good show.
Yeah, I'm excited about Naito's thing coming into this year. Hopefully he makes it to Forbidden Door, at least at minimum, so we could get, because we got to have Naito.
Yeah.
These last couple of years, it's like, why hasn't Naito had a big Forbidden Door match? This
Yeah.
better be the year.
I would love to see Naito come to America as champion for Forbidden Door. That would be cool. But yeah, excited for what we're getting out of this. We're getting Battle of the Valley. That card looks amazing. Going back to JK's question that I was trying to hold off on, and now I can't find it. Oh, here it is. JK Schwal asks, for Grapsody, Phil, thoughts on New Japan running Wintrust? Feels like they're going to have some big stuff planned.
Oh,
if
yeah.
going there.
Big
Very much.
announcement.
Very much excited for that announcement. New Japan is coming back to Chicago for Windy City Riot, and it's going to be in the city. It's not going to be out in the burbs. It's going to be in the city of Chicago. It's going to be at Wintrust Arena. This is being billed as their biggest New Japan Strong show to date. This is clearly like one of their biggest crowds they've done. Very much excited. I think having the show in the city and having it at Wintrust is a good sign that they have something big planned. I don't know what is planned, but it's New Japan. Y'all know I'm a big New Japan fan. It's in Chicago. I will definitely be there. It's, I think, right after WrestleMania as well. It's the same week. It's that Friday.
I have to retire my favorite term. I'm tired of y'all, because next week Okada and Will Ospreay are gonna wrestle in San Jose. But I just like to say the Grapsody boys are eating pretty good. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Eating real good. When I saw that, and I was like, man, Chicago, Illinois, that's where we're at. I hit the "we're back," and somebody was like, "How are y'all back? They're always here." And I was like, "Don't you ever fucking forget it. This is the Mecca of pro wrestling. This is where pro wrestling belongs. It will never leave us. This is where it belongs. I will continue to say, bring us a WrestleMania. I want it."
Y'all pretty far down the list. I think it's gonna take some time. Yeah, that's good. That's gonna be a dope show, though. I'm interested to see what they like. What could be the main event there?
I don't know. I have to assume there's going to be something big by then with New Japan Strong. Lest I say there might be a certain boss appearance on there. I don't know. Maybe she's on that card. Maybe that means we're going to get somebody else on that card. Maybe Naito's here by then. I don't know. I am excited, though, man.
When did Ospreay say? Ospreay said he was till March. He'll be gone by then.
He'll be gone by then. But at that point, he'll be wrestling stateside for AEW. So
what a year.
We'll get to see him regularly.
Dolph Ziggler is going to be in the main event. It's like, what is going on here?
Dolph Ziggler and headlining a New Japan show sounds absolutely
that's
absurd.
Crazy. Yeah,
we've got
Dolph Ziggler and Okada is going to be nuts.
Yeah, we got some more Humper chats. We got some more super chats. But before we get into anything else, let's get a word from our sponsor.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful, here to tell you about BetOnline AG. The highest credit card acceptance industry-wide, 25-plus year track record, safe and secure online environments, payouts in minutes, the fastest in the industry. You can bet big with their high limits and rebet functionality, the earliest line, so odds open before the competition, the industry's best bonuses on every qualifying deposit, and we're talking on everything. Wrestling, they got it. MMA, they got it. Boxing, they got it. But hey, you know what? I know we're Fightful. We don't just live for that. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, racing, esports, anything you can think of. Not only that, this is exclusively where Fightful gets our lines from. If you hear us talking about lines on a prediction show or on our post shows, it is always from BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can. BetOnline.ag.
Yeah, what a great show to talk about.
Unbelievable.
I thought the entire time coming into this episode how excited I am to talk about Wrestle Kingdom. I'm just like, man, just what a great night of wrestling.
January, man, like you said, one of the best months of the year for pro wrestling, and Wrestle Kingdom starting out the year is so fitting at this point because like the bar last year, the bar was set. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay were like, here, top this shit wrestlers, and now Bryan Danielson and Kushka Okada, can't say names, I can't talk, started the year out at the very top. It's like wrestlers have to compare to that. Like you're gonna try to beat that all year. We're in for an amazing one.
Yeah. See, we got a few more Humper chats from Nelson Muntz. He says, biggest news: The Rock pretending he was eating In-N-Out for the first time ever, yet again on IG, or Paul Levesque announcing that the huge WWE announcement was them doing the pay-per-view in Canada like we forgot where Elimination Chamber 2023 took place. Yeah, we got that news as well that Money in the Bank will be in Toronto, Canada this year.
Good for the Canadians.
Yeah, good. It's just good to see more international wrestling shows. I'm excited to see those fans see wrestling and just see different crowds, get different atmospheres, and of course, seeing the wrestlers get to travel the world and do what they're good at. That's awesome. From D-Lo Diggs, he says, on the Rock thing, what confirm is it that almost every city WWE will be in will be cities that the oof is going to be in? Y'all think Cody's chances of finishing the story is having him beat Priest and take the Money in the Bank briefcase? In my opinion, I don't want that. I don't think he's going to win the briefcase. I still think if he doesn't finish it at WrestleMania, it's probably going to happen at SummerSlam.
Him cashing in to win the belt would be so bad.
I don't want to see a cash in. I just want to see him beat him outright at this point. I think that would be a terrible way to go back to it with the way that he lost last year, to have him have to cash in to beat him. I think that's a terrible way to follow that up.
That's not how you finish a story.
Yeah, no, I'm good on it. From Tony P, Wrestle Kingdom was fire. The troll job of losers wearing white was funny. Had people happy when the three-way started. I can say Finlay needed this match, and Nick challenging him is good for him. The ending, how much were all of us cussing out Gato after Evil hit the ring? Yeah, I was definitely screaming at this guy, Gato! He can't get away with this. He can't keep getting away.
Not again.
Gato got to chill out, man. With this
Straight up. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. From Bizarro Big L, sup fellas, appreciate your positivity. Too many good things going on in AEW and New Japan to see this much whining online. Storylines in AEW have vastly improved, and New Japan is cooking with United Empire versus Bullet Club. That was another match coming out of New Year Dash that's looking fire. We're going to get the cage match. That's going to be Will Ospreay's final New Japan match. Bizarro Big L also says, give me Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan and TMDK versus Blackpool Combat Club.
Yes, me too. I want that.
That is all of our Humper chats for now.
We got a couple super chats. Ryan Ben 666 says, you have no budget. What is your Wrestle Kingdom dream entrance?
Wrestle Kingdom dream entrance. Depending on the match for Swerve in the Dome, I think would be really cool. But Swerve in the Dome coming out to Ain't Nobody. Pay Shaka all the money. Do it up big. I think that's the one.
I like it. That's dope. That is the one at this point. No budget dream entrance. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
I'm gonna say Swerve coming out to Ain't Nobody in the Dome.
That's pretty good.
I would love to see that.
My dream entrance was somebody coming out to Griselda, and that's already happened. So
yeah, I mean, I think there's wrestlers you could do the Griselda entrance in the dome with, that could be cool. I think if Finn ever goes back to the dome and wrestles, I think him coming out with West Side would be amazing.
Yeah. Marcus Metcalf says, I think it's a good transition. And our show says, what's the next steps for AEW's women's division?
It's looking up because we
Yep.
got a debut, not the debut that people expected, but a great debut in New Jersey. Deonna Purrazzo is All Elite, coming right after a very good match, I thought, with Mariah May.
Oh, yeah.
Taking on Queen Aminata. Queen Aminata is, telling you, she's one of those ones. I'm glad to see her more on TV more. I'm glad to see her back wrestling. She had taken a break. Condolences to her as well. She spoke about her father passing away recently. But I thought her and Mariah May put on a great match. That was a great debut for Mariah, and then ending it with the Deonna debut. I think that's a good sign for the division. I think Tony has been great for them. It's cool seeing more and more storylines for the women. It's not like they just show up randomly or just have them one match on the card and then we never see anything from them again. I think the way they've handled the implosion of the Outcast has been good. I like what they're doing with Saraya and Ruby, and now Harley's added into the mix. I think that's cool. I think the Willow and Chris Statlander stuff has been working. There's a lot of bits and pieces here where the more you see the women, you're more interesting. Anna had a great match as well with Sheeta last night on Rampage. Every time she wrestles Sheeta, she gets better and better. Just the progression we've seen from Sky Blue and her heel turn. A lot to be excited about the women at the moment.
Yeah, I think starting the year and having that segment of that Mariah May debut with that really good Queen Aminata match. Aminata looks like I said online, she's 10 out of 10 in all categories. Like, there's aura feel and there's like what she has. It's like you see her and you're like, who is she? What? Oh my God. Like when, Charlie Murphy described Rick James coming in for the first time, that's what it's like. Damn, she has like an aura around her. Like she just looks like a superstar. And then when the bell rings, she hits so hard. She has a presence, spacing, like everything. Her look again in the ring, like the size compared to other people and how she works. She is a huge star. It's kind of the same vibes I got after watching the Julia and Megan Bain match. I was like, when Megan Bain comes over here, like she's about to be a fucking giant star, dude. Holy shit.
That's another part of the women's division this year. Whenever Megan Bain comes back, she's gonna hit hard, man.
Yo, she is a big star. But that's kind of the feelings I got after Queen. I'm like, damn, her and Megan Bain, they're the future of this, is all I'm saying. But I think having that match, Mariah May looked great too. I think there's kind of these expectations, like she came in and she hasn't had a match. Some people never have seen her in Japan. They know zero about her. All they know is she's this Tony Storm's friend or whatever. I think that match was a great introduction for her. The drop kicks looked insane. I thought that she just has her charisma just kind of comes off the screen. Like she's kind of a complete player for them. I don't know if they really know how great of a talent they have kind of with everything surrounded. But I was like, yeah, that was a really great display for Mariah May. But then to immediately have Deonna come out and declare that she's All Elite. Deonna is an all-star player. I'm talking about a top woman. Like, put her in the main event tomorrow. Like, she is a cornerstone of this division moving forward immediately. Like, she changes the trajectory of the whole division that quickly. So that, like, if you just see that segment, it's like great hopes for the future of this division. And there's an elephant in the room we all know that's kind of lurking. So like, if these pieces kind of connect together and everything happens, like the AEW women's division is going to be crazy. And like you said, Anna Jay's been killing it. Just got the return of our homegirl Thunder Rosa. Athena's lurking in the shadows. She could be coming up over here. Stat and Willow are doing great, amazing things. Trish is going to take on Julia. I think it's like, yo, what?
Yeah,
bro, this is nuts.
Yeah, I feel like this is the most that I feel like everything has kind of come together for the women's division in a long time. I feel like there's a lot to be optimistic about.
Yeah.
I like the way they executed Deonna's debut. They gave her moment. It didn't feel like, hey, man, we need a debut for this card. They made sure to do it in her hometown. The crowd was very much chanting for her. She got a pop. And I think immediately having her come in and say, like, no, I want to be champion, not just coming in and debuting, like, nope,
I'm not happy to be here. I want that belt.
I want to be champion. And she's been champion all over the world. She had a fantastic Impact run, career-defining Impact run, if I say so myself. I think this is a very good signing for her, man. I know that certain people expect Mercedes, but I think that this was a huge signing for them. I think she's going to do great there. I think it was time for her to move on from Impact. Although, like, I think she had a really, really good run there. She had done everything there was to do with Impact. And if you wanted her to get on a bigger stage and be able to wrestle her style of matches and everything, this is kind of the place for her.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of pieces, Phil, like in wrestling that fill a bigger role than just like, we got a really good in-ring talent, or we got a future or a former champion. Like Deonna's great on the mic. She's incredible on the ring, but what she's going to be able to do, like helping the young women like Julia and Sky, just like being in the ring with that high class wrestler that hasn't even hit their prime yet, and just going to be able to teach from the inside and from the outside. Like talents like this are so important. And I love that they gave her her own moment in New Jersey. Like people were there for her. They knew who she was. She came out. She looks like a big star. Like this is how you have to present these women moving forward. You have to tell us off rip, this is a big star. This is somebody you should know. Even if the people don't know, they need to think that same thing of the people that do know. Thought this was a great interest for Deonna, and I'm super excited because there's so many places to go. We talked a few weeks ago about like if she would have came in the Ring of Honor, that would have been a great idea. There's 2 championships over there. There's 2 championships here in the AEW proper. So it's like there's so many places for her to go. But I think for the division, in a few months, we're going to be like, damn, it's cooking. Hopefully Jamie Hayter's back, Britt, like all these people, when they get all their pieces together, it's going to be inevitable. That's been kind of the talk with Mercedes of people being like, well, do you guys think the it's going to change over there if Mercedes gets signed? Is it going to be any different for the women? Like, you don't have a choice if you have Mercedes, especially with the bags.
You have to treat it like a big deal.
Exactly. You can't get Mercedes and be like, well, she's here and she's in the back. No, Mercedes is here. Everyone has to know about it.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign with Mercedes potentially coming in that they're building up the rest of the division so much. Because I mean, even with Deonna coming in, we got that vignette for Deeb on Saturday.
Oh, that was fire.
And I was like, yeah, man, give us the match now. The technical masterclass we can get out of Deeb versus Deonna, man, that's going to be good.
That was fire. I forgot about that Deeb promo. Forgot about Deeb. Deeb is here too, you guys, like a big money player. We know how great she is in the ring. I'm hoping that she comes in and maybe forms a little female Blackpool Combat Club and we really start cooking, because I think that she has this, like, they're kind of telling the story of Woman of 1,000 Holes. Kind of, she's a teacher. She's in this position. I think coming in, she's going to fill a really, really dope role. Like, the women's division is about to cook, man. They have to have the opportunity. You have to continue to present them in a good way. And you got to continue not putting them in that death slot.
Yeah. Like I said, I think there are a lot of good signs right now. Having a lot of women healthy again is also good. And, you have more time now. You have 5 hours of wrestling a week. You kind of don't have an excuse. And you've seen that Collision has kind of become like a spot for women. There's more spots for women on Ring of Honor. I think that's good. I think I'm not saying like Deonna has to go back to Ring of Honor, but I feel like just with her history in Ring of Honor, I would like to see her do something there eventually.
I just want to see her wrestle Athena. So anyway, we can make that happen.
There's a lot of options there. I'm very excited for her run in AEW. I'm just very excited that she's on TV and we're gonna see her more. Because when she showed up, was it like a year ago, and she had the match with Roxanne, which that just seems like it just happened
like
1,000 years ago.
Like, that don't even sound right when you said it. I'm like, Roxanne.
Yeah, she had the match with Roxanne for Ring of Honor, and then she had the match on AEW television with Mercedes Martinez.
Yep.
it just seems like all of that stuff happened so long ago, but just like even when she had that entrance with the Mercedes match on television, it just felt like, yeah, this is where she belongs. No knock to Impact at all, but like we need to see
She
her in
fits
front
here.
of some bigger crowds, man.
Yeah, really exciting for I think the future of the division. Having another high impact player that you could put in main events right now is what needs to go on. You talked about it a little bit, and it's advertised in our thing. It's been it feels like 500 years ago, but yeah, AEW Worlds End happened. It feels so long ago, Phil. Holy shit! I'm like, that's just a week ago. It feels like 2 years ago at this point.
It does. We did have another pay-per-view in AEW Worlds End. Very very, very interesting day. Very awkward night of wrestling.
Oh yeah,
you had the Jericho stuff looming over the night, which then seeped into the show, and I just feel like the show started with such a dour note. Like you could just tell when the crowd just like it just felt like it was just something off for most of the night. I thought the pre-show stuff was fine. The Willow Statlander match was fine. We got a Battle Royal. That was all right. Killswitch won that, a.k.a. Luchasaurus. I thought the FTW Rules match was fine. It was kind of like a hardcore style match with Hook and Big Utes. Big Utes continues to be one of my favorite heels in the company.
I love it.
But Hook won that match. But yeah, it started off good. I thought the 8-man match was very good. That was a really fun match with the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson teaming up with Mark Briscoe and Dan Garcia taking on Jay Lethal, Brody King, Jay White, and Roosh. I thought that was a very fun match. I thought Garcia needed a big win like that. To see him get the pin was cool.
Yep. I love the Bola New Japan style. These are all the guys in the tournament, so let's have them in a match at the end to kind of showcase who was there and where we are at the end of this tournament. I think having Dan Garcia get the pin shows exactly like people talking about wins and losses and Daniel Garcia is a loser, blah blah blah. Look at what happened coming out of this tournament. Daniel Garcia lost most of his matches, but he's way hotter than he was even coming into the tournament. So it shows that if we go in different directions, some things could happen and we could catch magic. Daniel Garcia is so good at everything that I knew this was going to happen, but to see it being executed is awesome. And to see him with Bryan Danielson also is like,
yeah.
What could have been, but I do love the tease at the beginning of him about to hit the dance and Bryan coming out and being like Bryan interrupting him, you know what I mean, like subliminally almost.
Yeah, I thought if you were worried as well about Jay Lethal losing all the matches, and it's like, all right, well, you can say all of these other people benefited from the tournament, but did it really benefit Jay Lethal because he lost all of his matches? I thought all the stuff that they've done story-wise with him and Mark and the stuff we saw this week on Rampage with Jarrett, I thought all of this stuff made it worth it. You're finally starting to see like the cracks in the stable with Jarrett. You can see that he might be going his own separate way. I thought that stuff was good.
Yeah, I'm like, who didn't come up in the Continental Classic at this point? It's like everybody came out with at least something, you know, some little piece of nugget coming out of this, some more than others.
Yeah, then the show kind of took a real dive for me because, I mean, the Miro Andrade match was good.
Some more than others.
But Andrade came out of the tournament with a lot of excitement around him. He's got the CMLL stuff. And then you got the cloud over this match that we got the news before the show started that Andrade is finishing up with AEW and potentially heading back to WWE. And so it left like kind of an awkward feeling around this match where it was just like, all right, well, what does any of this mean? And so Miro won, and you had the CJ shenanigans. I was like, okay. I have not been a fan of this storyline with Miro and CJ at all. I thought like the stuff with him and CJ in this match just didn't really make much sense. I get the story is kind of that, all right, they're kind of playing games with each other, but they still want to be with each other. But this just wasn't for me. I thought the match itself was fine, but I think it was overshadowed by the news and just the fact that the story ain't really that good.
This match showed me that wrestling is petty, but it's not as petty as it could be. Because a brother like me would have had Miro squashed that man in 3 minutes and dumped him
Yo.
out of the ring. But no, it was like,
He
no,
got-
he did his, it was a regular match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got about 15 minutes. It was a solid match. It just was everything going on that day, all of the negative news. It was just like, man, I don't know. And then like, cause at the finish just was.
Yeah, and then
whatever.
the Lana and Miro stuff is like the CJ and Miro stuff is just like
Yeah.
nobody wants this. Like the story you were telling originally, we weren't really into it, and you're still trying to tell it, and we're just not that into it. So I think they actually made it worse when he got into the stay in the kitchen bits or whatever he was getting.
That was.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, the ship has sailed here. We're good.
Yeah, we got Timeless Tony Storm defending her championship against Rio. Wasn't a big fan of this match either, to be honest with you. It was fine, but
What do you think happened here?
I still think they're trying to figure out how to do
Yeah,
the character stuff with Tony and have the matches.
in the matches. Mhm.
And I think she was doing a better job of it initially, but it's just so much of the shenanigans and
It's too much.
it's just kind of overboard. I feel like you could just have the straightforward matches.
Like keep the shenanigans for the when she's on commentary and the backstage and all that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the match, just like have her work. It's okay.
Yeah, she was very funny on commentary. She was very funny this week on Dynamite again. Still enjoying the character stuff. This match didn't really hit like I wanted it to, especially given the two people in it. Both of them are very good, so I expected more out of it. So it wasn't so much that the match was bad. I think it just wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed for what I was hoping. And I kind of felt the same way with the other women's match as well. Like the Julia Hart versus Abaddon was fine, but it didn't really blow me away.
Yeah, it didn't get to where it needed to be.
Yeah. Then we got the Swerve match with Dustin Rhodes instead of Keith Lee, and again, like the Andrade match, you had the news lingering over this match that Keith Lee was not going to be in the match, and so it was just kind of like, all right, why are we doing this? All right, Swerve should just come out and beat him quick, right? No, we actually got like a 10 minutes out of this, and I didn't really understand that.
Why didn't they just do the first part? Just did the first part, and that was it.
We got the whole beatdown stuff, and then we got the match itself, and I felt like after the beatdown segment with the center block, the match went on a little bit too long. I know we were supposed to feel like Dustin got this big hope spot out of it, and he got this valiant fight back, but with the way the crowd was responding to it, and the crowd was so into Swerve, it just didn't really work.
Yeah, there was. I thought, like I said, I think they should have just did the first part and just carted Dustin out of here. As soon as he started to do the rallying walk back, I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, and then you're gonna have him like if he's gonna hit spots. Why do we do these injury angles before the thing if you're not going to bury him? You have him selling a leg and then he hits a Canadian destroyer. It's like, I get like wrestling's have been suspending disbelief and all this, but like just don't set yourself up for that.
Yeah, I think it was another one of those matches where kind of like Rio and Tony and, Andrade versus Miro, where the match itself was fine, but it was just a victim of the circumstances of the night. There was so much negative news coming into the night, and I feel like this match didn't do enough to distract from it, especially with the Keith Lee injury. It just felt like, dang, just another negative thing on top of this. It was fine. Swerve got a great reaction, but it was just like, this felt kind of like a TV match. It just felt
It didn't need to be here.
Yeah.
Especially with like how hot Swerve is. It's like this wasn't needed.
Yeah. Then we got the 8-man tag match of Sting and Darby teaming up with Le Sex Gods, Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho taking on Ricky Stark, Big Bill, and the Don Callis family. The crowd was very much booing Chris Jericho from the beginning, which I was surprised by. I was curious to see.
I was super surprised.
Yeah, I was curious to see how much the allegations and stuff was going to translate to the show, and boy,
they translated.
Very much translated. There were people that were still loudly singing Judas when he came out, but he was very clearly getting booed throughout this entrance. We got NDA chants throughout this thing. There were several points where, as the good guy, he was coming in and supposed to do something to beat down on the bad guy, and he was getting booed the entire time.
Just like I told you last week on this podcast, Phil, this could have been very different. If they were in Wheeling, West Virginia for this show, it would not have mattered. They were in New York. It's a fine line. Like
Yeah.
New York is a hardcore wrestling fan base, so they could have went to the show and nobody cared. But I'm like, I think a lot of these fans are gonna know exactly what went on that day because they're New York hardcore fans, and they proved me right. Like, soon as they're chanting NDA, they're chanting for Kylie Ray,
Yeah.
like all the stuff. I'm like, oh, they know, man. There's signs. Like, no, this isn't anything. Do you think that was such a tough position though, Phil? Because what were they supposed to do? Should they have pivoted from, because there wasn't any time to do a proper investigation? Do you still pivot and like maybe not give him cool spots with Sting?
So you were in a tough position because, as we saw with how they handled the allegations for the entirety of the night, their whole thing was basically just act like it didn't happen, act like nothing has happened, because it's at this point it's just rumors and it's just internet chatter. There's no
time to do anything.
There isn't anything concrete. It's not like Kylie came out with like any like actual allegations. We're all basing this off of internet stuff. We're all off a heart emoji.
Yeah.
So I think that the way they want to handle it is, until there's like actual allegations to respond to, until there's an actual report or anything, we're just going to just keep going on as nothing has happened. That's definitely a choice. But because you did that, it would have been tough to take him out of the match, because if you replace him in the match, then you have to explain why. And they clearly had no interest in doing that.
Well, pro wrestling has shown us through history that carrying on is the way to go about it. Like, nobody ever really like attacks anything head on. History has shown us, like, if there's a thing, they're probably going to just go through the show. The show must go on type deal. And that's what this was.
It worked for most of the show. This match definitely suffered because of it, and I felt bad for everybody else in the match because
all 7 other guys.
Yeah, it was such a big downer for the entire match, especially Sting, because this was supposed to be Sting's moment. This is his last time.
Don't have Sting in this shit, man. Yeah. Why Sting in this?
Yeah, this is his last match in Long Island, and this at Nassau Coliseum, and this was just a distraction. Even afterwards, when Sammy got the pin and they were trying to let Sting have his moment and have like his victory lap in the ring and him going around like high-fiving people, it just still felt like it was overshadowed by everything ahead of it and everything in the match. Unfortunate, man. The match wasn't bad. It just was too big of a distraction, man. Too big of a distraction. I feel like the show really picked up with the no disqualification match, though. Crazy to say this, but Adam Copeland and Christian Cage totally saved the show because it was not a lot of fun for the first half of it. This match definitely sports entertained me. Copeland came out with his WrestleMania gear on. Christian's doing his whole shenanigans. I thought the way that they did the whole match, we got a flaming table. Nick, please, Nick, be careful.
Nick Wayne, you young person, relax out there, youngster. That was scary. Yeah, no, this match right here showed me, Phil. I thought the crowd was weird for the beginning of the show. Yeah. I thought, okay, they're not getting the best. This isn't the greatest content. There's nothing even for them to be ravish about. Then this match happened. I was like, oh, they wanted to be sports entertained this whole time. I understand what's going on. Because soon as the sports entertainments, as soon as Adam Copeland's music hit, I was like, oh, this crowd wanted to be sports entertained off rip. There is throughout this industry now, WWE is selling out shows everywhere that they go. There's going to be crossover now. There's going to be some fans that are like, wrestling is hot right now, so I'm going to a wrestling show. Or I'm going to be sports entertained. And AEW isn't all sports entertainment. It's like it's pro wrestling, 2 guys, a sport, blah, blah, blah. But then Adam Copeland and Christian came out and they started sports entertaining. And I was like, oh, I understand what's going on. I loved it. I think it hit perfect. This show was like, it wasn't hitting. Yeah, it wasn't
very Jekyll and Hyde.
It wasn't hitting coming into this. I was like, I don't know what's going on. The funny thing about it, at the end of the week, it's like, oh, their TV show was better than their pay-per-view. It's crazy. It's a good position to be in. I think, Phil, like, you're you're being compared to yourself. Like, I'm not even, this is how I judge all wrestling. Like, when I talk about WWE, I'm talking about WWE versus WWE. I hate when people just like, there's no tribalism here. I'm comparing people to how they are. And I thought people coming out of this pay-per-view, people were like, that show didn't really hit because we just saw the Continental Classic, which we're giving 3 banging matches every show. Their TV show is fire. Like, we expect more. Like, we're comparing you to yourself. So, like, that's a good thing for you because we're saying you give us awesomeness and we want more awesomeness, you know?
Yeah, this was definitely the weakest AEW pay-per-view of the year.
It was.
I
didn't think anything was going to beat Double or Nothing, but it did.
This was I think that, like I said, this match saved it. I enjoyed a lot about this match. I thought all of the stuff that Christian and Copeland did in this worked. I thought the finish after Copeland won the title could have been very bad, and it could have not worked. But we got Kill Switch using his opportunity and giving it to Christian.
If it was anybody besides Christian, it wouldn't have worked.
If it was
Christian
anybody
made
else,
it work.
it wouldn't have worked. But Christian screwing Copeland and essentially doing a cash-in, the thing that Copeland made his name on as the rated R superstar, being the biggest opportunist in wrestling. Christian flipping that on this guy and using that to take his title back. Man, very, very smart. I enjoyed it a lot.
I was nervous about that when Kill Switch won the contract. I was like, I think I know where this is going. It could be bad, but no, they made it work.
Yeah, I thought it was leading to the babyface turn because they've been teasing the babyface turn with Luchasaurus for a while. Even the show they did here in November, they had started it, but he still just stepped in line and just handed over his title opportunity. Christian is still your TNT champion. Copeland is to date the shortest reigning TNT champion. So now he holds their record. But I enjoyed this. I thought the Continental Classic Finals was perfect. I knew that was going to hit. If nothing else on this card hit, I knew this was going to be good. And these two guys didn't disappoint. It's Eddie in the tri-state area. You know what he's going to do. He's going to get the big reaction from New York. And Mox is Mox. Mox is going to come out with the aura. I thought this was the perfect story to tell for Eddie coming into this tournament. Him having to kind of dispel all of his demons, beating Claudio, getting his first win over Brian, then getting his first win over Mox. And then the emotion afterwards of him beating him and him hugging it out. I thought it was great. I thought it was perfect.
I really liked how they worked this match because, like, if you know kind of the history, Eddie Kingston tells us every week what his wrestling preferences are, how he came up. And this was definitely this is how I came up style.
Very All Japan match.
Very epic All Japan style match that you would expect from Eddie Kingston. All the elements and situations and everything being perfect is so good in pro wrestling. We've gotten a few of those recently. This was another one. They've been telling this story for a long time. Eddie Kingston, the story of just in the tournament of like he was down and out, but then he came from the bottom to beat Brian, Claudio, and John Moxley, beat all the BCC pretty much, and he won the belt in New York, the Triple Crown. Like,
perfect.
All the elements being there was so awesome. I thought this match was really fun. And for Mox to, I just like the position that Mox played, man. Mox is he's such an MVP in all the position. Like, how great was he in Wrestle Kingdom? But then that was coming off of this. Good, like everything that he does, it's like, I feel like it always is for the other person. Like, he feels so selfless. Like, it never feels like Mox is like, I'm going to get my shit off. It's always like, I'm going to help somebody else get their shit off. And I just like that so much about Mox.
Yeah, I definitely laughed during this match because he did not bleed. And when he did not bleed, I was like, oh, he's definitely bleeding in that Wrestle Kingdom match. And sure enough, Wrestle Kingdom match. But no, he was fantastic.
You got one blade job this week. You better make it count.
Yeah, but he was fantastic here. I thought this was the perfect way to cap off the first Continental Classic. Big fan of this tournament. Cannot wait for it to come back this year.
Damn, they knocked it out of the park. They killed everybody, destroyed. Like I said, coming out of this, every single person in the tournament has at least one thing good coming out of it. This tournament was like a rounding success.
Yeah. Big resounding success for the Continental Classic. I wish that the circumstances were better and more people were talking about the way that it ended on Saturday as opposed to the Jericho stuff. But again, victim
Really
of the
unfortunate,
circumstances. I thought the main event also was very good. I thought the last 3 matches of the show made this show worth it. The main event was very good. I thought Joe was Joe. MJF put on a great performance, even though he was injured.
Another match that I didn't expect to be so long. I'm like, Max is beat the fuck up. How's he gonna work a long ass match? And they did it. They worked for a while.
Yeah, they worked a long match, but I thought that this was a strong match. I thought it was a good way to end Max's title reign. He came out with the big entrance with the people of Long Island behind him. I like that Joe just kind of beat him matter of factly.
I did too. Yep,
He didn't need any shenanigans to beat him. He didn't cheat. He just without Cole there to help him, he just beat him clean and
choked him out.
I thought that was a great way to end this. I thought people that were saying that they wish that Cole had interfered and that's how the devil stuff happened. I thought that kind of missed the purpose of the story. The story that they were telling is that Max wouldn't have beat him at Grand Slam if he hadn't cheated. And so I thought for him to come in this time around, it felt very much like when Joe finally beat Balor, where it was like, once it's a straight up fight, I'm gonna beat you.
I'm gonna beat you. And I think they're telling the story of Samoa Joe being like, I need help. Like I used the Joker and his boys to get here, but I don't need their help to beat Max.
I don't need them to beat you. But definitely Orion. That muscle buster on the apron.
Oh my god!
I was like,
wait, I thought Max was hurt. I don't think you guys should.
I was like, Max, why are you doing this? We're doing this to yourself.
Max
man.
got some fucked up shoulder. Okay, let's do a disgusting muscle buster on the apron. All right.
Oh yeah, that was very gnarly bump. Very much glad that he's okay. Take some time off. Get yourself together, Max. Speaking of, please get back soon, Kota Ibushi. Do not rush back.
Oh
in that ring,
my
man.
god! In heaven, I
don't need you to see you wrestling injured. Just
I'm okay. We saw it, dude.
Recuperate and get back to yourself, man.
You could have came out that night and said, "I can't wrestle," and we would have all been fine with it, dude.
Yeah, no, we don't need it. But yeah, this was a good main event. I thought the execution of the Devil reveal was good as well because I've been saying for weeks that it's Cole. I thought it was obvious that it was Cole, but I thought they took something.
You've been saying legit since day one that it's Adam Cole.
yeah. So I thought they took something that was fairly obvious and they gave us a good reveal. They had the lights out and then it cut back on and Cole was standing above Max, and then he takes the devil mask out of his pocket. I thought all that stuff was very good. It was a good way to end the pay-per-view. Like I said, the last 3 matches made it worth the price of admission. Not the best show of the year, though. Not one of my favorites.
Just like I said, then Dynamite came and it was fire. I'm like, why didn't you guys just do this on pay-per-view? I don't know. you know what I mean?
Dynamite this week was far better than the pay-per-view. I mean, we opened with the Cole stuff. I thought the Cole stuff was great. Came out with a fire theme song. Mikey Ruckus done it again, man. You're a genius.
Straight up.
I thought that stuff was good.
Christ.
I'm sure some people will be wringing their fists at the Wardlow stuff, but I thought the Wardlow stuff was fine.
I gave my thoughts on Denise on the post show.
Why I think it works is because I think it's a situation where everybody's kind of using each other. You saw that with the Joe stuff where Joe may not like the devil or anything, but he's using him to get what he wants out of the same. And I think that that's what Wardlow's doing as well. He's going along with it to go, oh, yeah, I'll hand it over to you. Wink, wink, wink. But when the time comes, if I do beat Joe, I'm not handing you nothing.
I think my favorite thing about the story and the reveal is if you know the history of Adam Cole, this goes right along with Adam Cole. Like, oh, he's using a bunch of people to get to the top and he thinks they're going to give him the belt. Like, this is so Adam Cole.
Yes. I thought all of this was great. I thought bringing back the Undisputed name for this is good. Undisputed Kingdom is a cool name for
Kyle, we miss you, big dog. We wish you were here, man.
I said it on Twitter, but the second I heard that guitar solo, I was like, man, Kyle's gonna have a blast. If he ever comes back and he's a part of this too, which I feel like he will be.
I hope so.
Man, that guitar solo. I'm ready. I need to
go back and watch all the Kyle matches from AEW because I'm gonna remember that Darby match and how fire it was. I'm like, before Kyle got injured and left, he was on some shit.
He had a Fire Joe match like right before he got injured.
Oh
that I enjoyed it.
right. Oh my god, he was killing it.
Yeah, but
He's
yeah,
so good.
yeah, good episode of Dynamite all around. Like you said, the Derby match with Takeshita was fantastic.
That was insane.
Really,
that
really
German
good.
suplex off the top, dude. He tried to bridge off a top rope German suplex. I'm like, I don't know what these
What
brothers
y'all
are doing,
man?
but they're going
What
crazy.
are we doing, man? That rolling German down the ramp was great. And I watching this whole thing, I was like, man, I sure wish Takeshita was a part of this tournament, man. This guy is so good. Let this guy wrestle on TV regularly, man.
Hindsight is whatever it is. I'm sure they wish he was in Andrade's spot.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think he was also in Japan for most of the tournament, so that's probably why he wasn't in
Right.
it. But man, watching, I was like, get this guy on TV wrestling. We
He
don't
needs to
need
be on TV every week doing that. Like, you see what he did, motherfucker? What are y'all doing?
we don't need all of the callous stuff every week. Get this guy back to doing what he does, doing the great graps. Yeah, if you're looking for somebody to put that belt on after Orange, I think it's Takeshita, man.
That's him. That's him. Yeah, that match was, like I said, that's one of the best TV matches ever, dude. That's like, when it was announced, we all knew it was going to be fire because Darby does that. But Takeshita, I think, continues to show us that them not capitalizing off two Kenny Omega wins was a big mistake. He shows them with his work. He's like, y'all fucked up. Look at what I can do. Y'all fucked up.
Yeah, we talked about the Deonna debut. That was great. We got the women's match. That was great. We got a lot of developments as well. This was just a great Dynamite all around. I feel like it was a great way to start the year for AEW programming. They needed a way to bounce back after that pay-per-view, and even more negative news coming out of 2023. So I thought this was a good way to start the year.
Yeah, them focusing on like the younger ones, the main event Swerve and Daniel Garcia,
Yes.
like them focusing on the next generation, establishing with Mariah and Queen and Deonna. I think like this episode, Private Party came back. We didn't talk about too, man.
Yes,
oh man, like I
Private.
think them just establishing all like this is what the future is important.
Yeah. I thought that was one of the best things they did with this episode as well. We got the Orange Cassidy Dante match, which was great.
Dante, big brolic Dante, man. He been in the gym.
Dante again proving that this guy is got a bright future. He's not just a guy now that could do the high spots, but man, when he did the power bomb spot, I was like, man, this guy he's mixing it up now. He's put on some muscle. Very excited to see what they do with this kid moving forward.
Yeah.
I love seeing those three as a trio, but this guy, man, he's got it, man.
Yeah, it's a weird position to be in because it's like coming back. I'm like, okay, let's do the trios thing. Maybe Top Flight and Action Andretti. Maybe even do this, Private Party coming out and calling out Top Flight too. I'm like, maybe do the tag thing, but like seeing Dante as a singles, I'm like, I don't know, man. They kind of got something here. Every time he has like a singles run, it's like he's polarizing and effective. It's like, I don't know, maybe he should just be singles.
He's definitely Jeff Hardy, man. Like
he is.
When somebody made that comparison that they are basically Matt and Jeff,
they are,
and Private Party is basically Edge and Christian, I was like, man, it's true though. It's true though. And so I'm just like, man, again, if you want to build this tag division up, make that the rivalry moving forward, man.
Those are the two coming into the importance of Private Party being back plays such a huge role in, to me, coming into AEW. Initially, they were the thing I was most excited about coming into that match they have with the Young Bucks. Still my favorite sequence in AEW history is Mark Quinn when they're facing the Young Bucks. Mark Quinn hits the like 4 high dives back to back, like that. Them coming in and establishing a new young black tag team, I thought was so important. Second to that was the establishment of Top Flight. So it's like these two tag teams play such an important role of the history, I think, of AEW, the tag division, black tag teams, that I'm just so excited about what we're about to get this year. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. Hopefully everything is good and we could have some hot shit. But I am excited coming off of that episode.
Yeah, it definitely felt good to see them get a good reaction. Twitter was very excited to see them back. And so I think that's a good sign. And they made sure to let us know right away that they are separating them from the Hardy family. Thank you. The
Did
Hardys.
you think it was interesting that they brought up all the tag teams, but they did not say the World Tag Team Champions name? They were like, we want to face the Young Bucks, we want to face the Hardys, FTR, but they did not say Big Bill and Ricky Starks.
Well, I mean, they said at the end that they want to be champions, so I think that was their way of acknowledging them. But you could also look at it like, no, we're looking at established tag teams. We want to be the best of the best.
That's what I'm saying.
I do think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that they also kind of echoed things that we've seen the internet saying about the tag division.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a good sign. Take it how you will. I think turning the Hardys heel is the right move as well.
Yeah.
I think that there's good stuff you can do with this, and they should be putting over teams like Private Party or somebody at this point. So I'm excited. I'm excited for them splitting them up and bringing back Private Party in a big way. Like you said, I thought the main event was good. I thought bringing back Hangman in the way that they did made a lot of sense. Closing the show with Hangman Swerve pull apart was good as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign for where both of those guys are going. They're both going to be in the title picture moving forward. I was confused because people were saying, why go back to this match, because Swerve has nothing to prove here. He's beat him twice. No, he doesn't. But we saw all along that Hangman is saying, I'm not going to do anything to this guy because he's in the tournament. As soon as the tournament was over, now I'm back on your neck because I said that it's not over.
Exactly. And they established it. I think those two backstage segments are very important. Hangman Page and MJF had a stare down, and they talked that great backstage segment that they have. At the end of it, Samoa Joe comes in and he's like, I'll see you, Hangman. I'm gonna fuck you up. Same thing with Swerve and MJF. They had the stare down backstage. They talked the talk. At the end of it, Samoa Joe comes up and he's like, I'll see you, Swerve. I'm gonna fuck you up. I think they've been kind of telling this story of these two guys. It's not them rehashing it. It's like they both know that they have to get through each other completely in order to get to the AEW World Championship. So I don't think it's like they're rehashing the thing. It's just like they know that in order to get to Samoa Joe, they got to finish this story that they're telling over here. So,
yeah, I feel like it's just a continuation of everything that was going on because, again, Hangman has said it like, no, as soon as this tournament is over, the energy is back. It's never left. I'm still on your ass as soon as this tournament is over. So I like that. I very much like how they handled it, and I do feel like that's going to lead into wherever we get with the world title picture later this year.
And so we kind of got off the pay-per-view before it's over. Samoa Joe is your new AEW World Champion, and that is amazing, man. Like the journey that he's taken from, they said he was washed, they said he was this. We were in that presser, the Ring of Honor presser, where he was like, I came to win the fucking AEW World Championship, and now he won the AEW World Championship, Phil, after an amazing, one of his best years ever, which is crazy to say after so long. Shout out to Samoa Joe, man. Well deserved.
Yeah, big win for him. Very well deserved, in my opinion. He's had a tremendous run with AEW. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy he got that big win. Got to complete the circle, finish the story, whatever you want to call it, in New York after losing in New York. Made all the sense in the world.
Man.
I'm very happy for Samoa Joe. I think starting the year with him as champion was needed. As much as I think that Max had a divisive title run, but match-wise, he had some tremendous title defenses. But it was time.
Yeah, some of the best matches. I hate that they try to spin the narrative that Max, because they didn't really like parts at the end that he wasn't cooking, but like he had that Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson, the Pillars match, the match with Takeshita. Like, don't try to act like he wasn't cooking. There's some parts that you didn't like, but like, for the most part, I thought that his title run, the Kenny Omega match, I thought that his title run was awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we would have been talking about it in a different light if Cole didn't get injured. Which was also very interesting that Cole straight away told us that he saved his title run, and so he had to be the one that ended it. I was like,
very interesting.
Talking that talk. But I think that it's a lot of good signs about AEW coming out of this week. They needed a good week because the end of 2023 was not kind to them.
And I was hoping that they like having that pay-per-view be okay, and then The Rock showing up on Monday. I'm like, y'all better have something for this Dynamite, because goddamn. But they did. They did it.
Yeah, I thought Rampage was good last night as well. But yeah, a lot of.
And I'm
lot
sure
of,
the collision match tonight with FTR, they're gonna give us another one of those bangers. So like, there's always stuff to look forward to and to look up on.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the FDR House of Black storyline. Looking forward to the match. We also got Trent versus Orange Cassidy. Eddie Kingston, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For the Continental Crown belt. Very pretty belt. But
Dope belt.
I was not expecting Trent to get this win. That was kind of a choice, but not mad at it.
I just didn't understand. It's like I'm like, Danhausen is like, no disrespect to Danhausen. I fucks with Danhausen, but like, that's the story you guys are using for him to be in this match. I really didn't understand. They tell the story. They show a video package before the 4-way where they're like, Trent was going for the TNT championship, but he lost. Now he's here and he's winning. It didn't add up for me, but I see Trent is always one of those, put him on. The match is going to bang. He's great in that position, but I just didn't really understand why he won this match, particularly right here.
Yeah, I didn't really get it either, but I'm sure the match will be good.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston and Trent. I want to see an Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe championship match at some point before either one of those guys loses those belts.
Yeah.
Please.
What did you think? Because the other thing of right after this pay-per-view is the press conference. You of course had the lingering news.
I forgot.
You had the lingering news of the Jericho stuff heading into the press conference. So a lot of people were waiting to see how Tony Khan was going to handle it.
They said Tony looked like Shock G in the press conference. I'm like, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it very much felt like they were like, well, there is no real concrete allegations. There is no report. So we're not going to really address it in a real way. And I felt like I understand that approach, but I also feel like it left a lot of room for criticism for them, especially if you're going to sit in the press conference and do kooky things like wear Tony's hat and sunglasses. Yeah, the Tony Storm aspect of the press conference was funny. It was entertaining. But to have him answer a question about the safety of his locker room and sexual harassment wearing that hat and sunglasses, wasn't it? That was very
just feels very unfortunate. It's like he didn't he wasn't trying to be malicious. He wasn't like, I'm doing this on purpose. It all just like, that's the type of things that AEW falls into. It's like, damn. That's like, it's like he addressed it and blah, blah, blah. But like, oh, he had this dumb hat on is all I saw people saying. Like, people were like, it's cool, but he had that hat and the glasses on. So it's like, damn, man, that's unfortunate. But shout out to the people, because like coming into this, people were like, the most anticipated thing is going to be the presser or whatever. Shout out to the questions were asked this time, because that's always the thing. Like, why doesn't everybody blah blah blah? Why doesn't everybody blah blah blah? The situations were talked about.
Yeah, I mean, of course, shout out to your guy Kevin at PWI. He asked a very good question. Homeboy from the USA Today, he asked a good question as well. I'm sorry, I don't remember the guy's name from USA Today. There were some good questions, but there also, I tell people all the time, going into this, everybody sitting in that room is not a journalist. Some of these people are people that have a podcast or like other like small outlet, and they're just there to.
They're not investigation journalists. They're not hard copy inside edition as journalists.
They're not there, and they're not equipped to handle that kind of subject matter. Some of those people don't care about their subject matter, unfortunately, and so they're not going to broach it in the best way. I thought the questions we did get were fine. I think that people that were disappointed with the press conference, it was because AEW is not going to handle it or address it in a real way, because in their minds, or technically there is nothing really to address yet, because there's no concrete.
It was only that day. They had no time to even investigate anything.
Yeah.
But that's not shooting anybody bail. I don't know the situation.
The question was asked at one point: was there an investigation into Jericho? And that's where people kind of gave some pushback that Tony didn't give a yes or no answer to that.
Oh, gotcha.
And
I didn't watch the press conference in full. I just saw the clips. So did they say? Because I'm trying to just understand. Did they say, Tony, is Chris Jericho being investigated for this situation with Kylie Ray that we're blah blah blah? Like, did they break it down like that? Because I can understand. Hey, is Chris Jericho being investigated? No, for
No,
what?
it was going to ask, like, was there ever an investigation? And I think the problem was there was never like a direct question about it. People kind of
Gotcha.
tried to dance around it and finesse the question in a
Oh, I
way that
see.
they felt like Tony would answer it. And because of that, that left the door open for him to not
To
get
not.
a direct answer.
Yeah.
And again, that just goes with the room we're in and just like the setting and people
Some,
being
like you
equipped.
said, some people weren't equipped. Some people went in there not even
Yeah.
knowing about the situation. They're just like, I'm going
Yeah.
to a wrestling show today, and Chris Jericho, like, you know what I mean? That wasn't on their thing of the day. There's some
Yeah.
people that off rip are like, I have my 5 questions and I'm going in here with this purpose. There are some people that bring that energy, but then there's a bunch of people that don't bring that energy. There's some
Yeah,
photographers, people just took pictures. They're not even here to ask questions. They're just in here.
and it was a touchy situation because, like I said, we don't have concrete allegations. We don't have a report. If you could come in with like some kind of like tell-all report and
Right.
point to that report, yeah, but you can't ask a question directly. Like you can't ask a question about the victim.
Hey,
in
was
question.
Kylie Ray's heart emoji a part? Like, you can't
Yeah, because
do that.
there's technically no victim
Yeah.
in question to ask
Right.
about because there is no proof of it, and so
Mhm.
that kind of made it tough to ask questions about.
Right.
And yeah, I saw also people trying to say that Nick backtracked. I don't feel like Nick backtracked at all. If anything, based off the clip I saw, it felt like he kind of doubled down. The thing that people are trying to say he backtracked on is that he said that he never said that there were allegations with him and Kylie, and that's true because he didn't say that.
He didn't.
That conclusion was come to online after the fact, after the report went viral, and then Kylie responded with the heart emoji. So he never said Kylie by name, and I'm sure people are going to be like, that's a technicality, but that is what happened. He never said her by name. She kind of got added into it, and then that puts him in a situation where you could be outing somebody that is not ready to be outed or come forward with a story that they're not ready to come forward with. Can you say that was still irresponsible on his part? Absolutely. But I don't think that it's fair then to say that he did this and then backtracked. But I also feel like this is internet, and you know how Twitter goes. It's the telephone game where, something happens and then you're getting somebody else's telling of what happened, and then you're getting responses to things, and people are not paying attention to what the actual response is. They're hearing what they want to hear.
Yeah, because
and-
people have already made their minds up about Nick. It doesn't matter what he does.
they've made up their minds about Nick, and people that are Jericho fans are going to see this as, all right, well, there's no proof, and there's nobody that came for it, so he didn't do anything. I don't know if I would jump to that
That's
conclusion.
not how this works at all.
There is no proof. There's nothing. The thing that I will say is that it isn't a good sign that she put that heart emoji out there, because
Even if there
was,
is proof, the people that say there is no proof don't care. That's the
Well-
issue. Is these motherfuckers are nasty. They're like, even if she had a book of proof, people would be like, well, what about? Well, why didn't she? There's always going to be those dumb motherfuckers. Or why didn't she go to the police? Blah blah blah. They're always going to be like that, and those people are the fucking worst. I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the fact that she posted that heart emoji unprovoked isn't a very good sign, and I don't think that people taking what Nick said after the fact means that he's innocent. I wouldn't jump to that conclusion. Again, we don't have any proof that he's done anything, but I also wouldn't just jump to the conclusion that he hasn't done anything and him backtracking means anything. Like I said last week when we talked about this, the problem with hearsay and you hearing rumors about somebody and reporting it without somebody coming forward is you just don't have anything to really stand on. We hear things all the time. You and I hear things all the time. But I'm not going to just come on our podcast and say that, because then I am seen as the guy that is sharing that information, and then it comes back on me. Regardless if it's true or not, that information is out there. I am the person that puts it out there, so I am now responsible for it. So it's just a messy situation all around. It's all very, very messy. I don't think the press conference helped. I think people at this point are going to believe what they want to believe.
I don't think people were satisfied coming out of that. That's not what. That's not the responses that they wanted.
Yeah, people are going to believe what they want to believe, and I also continue to say, I don't think it's a good idea to use things like this as gotcha moments in this tribalism thing with AEW versus WWE thing. I think that is the wrong takeaway from all of this. And people doing that, you are not helping the situation. You're not helping anything.
Moral politics does not work because, like I said, people were mad about Matt Riddle in New Japan, and then the next night WWE put Gable Stevenson on their show. It's like, if we're gonna play moral politics, like we got to play moral politics from the top to the bottom. You're not gonna win.
This is what I'm saying. Gable Stevenson was just there for a dark match on Friday. So yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know, man. There's so much on this that, again, we're just not in a place where we can really talk on because there's so much we don't know.
Exactly. I don't know way too much about it, but yeah, it's all unfortunate, and I hope everybody dealing with the situation is good. Let's get into a few super chats before we hop on out of here. Stephen Marcusili says, long shot, but Rock versus Roman opens night 2. Winner gets Cody to close out WrestleMania. They keep trying to get Roman to work twice. I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think it's happening, buddy.
Corey David says, thoughts on Oba Femi and Charlie Dempsey.
Shout out to Oba Femi. I think that he was the guy that coming into the breakout tournament, I was like, this guy's got something. So I'm glad that he's a winner. I don't know where they go with him moving forward, but he's got a bright future. Kid is only 22 years old, which is insane. But
there's
very
some
excited for his future.
There's some you know me, black wrestling guy, excited about things. There's sometimes when you see clips, I see clips of people being excited. I'm like, oh, that's cool. This guy's blah, blah. I saw this kid and I was like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. And he's only 22 years old. He's doing some amazing thing. He has presence. He has the look. He has the moves. I think this guy's going to be a big star. Super excited about it.
Yeah. I did not see the Charlie Dempsey All Japan match, so I can't really comment on it.
The clip side I saw, I think that he's doing some fun work up there. He definitely looks like Regal's son. I know that. Coy Stalling says, due to the importance of Daly's place and AEW's homecoming being back there, should Mercedes debut this week? Thoughts?
I think it'd be a cool place for her to debut just because it'd be symbolic in a lot of ways because of what Daly's place means to AEW. I cannot say that I feel like for sure that's what's going to happen, though.
It's like, is there a rush at this point?
I don't know.
Like, I don't think if I have Mercedes in my thing, I'm not debuting her at Daly's place. I'm sorry. That's just me. Like, at Daly's place, that's not enough for her. Like, the first time we see Mercedes Moné on TV at Daly's place, that don't hit.
I mean, I think that historically it makes sense. That's where Brody debuted. That's
it does.
Matt debuted.
Yes.
There. I mean, like I said, symbolically, it makes sense for it to happen there in some ways. It hasn't been enough, like, fanfare and like promotion for it. I guess is kind of my thing. But I don't think it would be bad if it's like a surprise where she just.
Yeah, it's not the worst, but I'm like, if I got the goddamn queen, I'm not debuting her at this little tiny place. No disrespect for that, but I'm just saying, like, it needs to be some goddamn fanfare if it's gonna be her. It will be, and it's gonna be a surprise, and it's gonna hit because it's her. But I mean, if it's her, fucking, we gotta take her somewhere.
I do think that they should let Deonna have a few weeks too, or a few episodes just to let her debut breathe. I don't think
because that's gonna be buried, right? You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna be forgetting about Deonna, and Deonna doesn't deserve that. We need to establish her as the character, and then when we get to some big, you can create. The issue is like you want it to be a surprise, but also like, yo, you guys, we're going to have Mercedes. You probably should show up at blah, blah, blah date or, like, you guys know we have this person. It could potentially be here. You should probably buy tickets to it, and just doing it on a random Wednesday and Daly's probably not going to, I don't know if I would do that, but I understand why.
Yep.
LaRon Ford said, I wasn't a fan of either women's title match on the main card at World's End, but I thought the 0 hour match with Willow and Stat was good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought all three matches were fine. None of them really blew me away. I thought they were fine.
Yeah, I thought that Willow and Stat match was good too. There was a couple of sketchy moments in there, but I think they made it work. That's all of our super chats. Thank you for all the super chats, Humber chats, support, all the shit.
Let me make sure that I got all of our Humper chats.
So much to discuss.
Okay, I got that. From Nelson Muntz, he says, 2024 prediction this year, we will see a lot more of Queen Aminata and Maya World and AEW
Yes.
and ROH. I agree.
Yeah.
I think that hopefully they see what they have in Queen Aminata. It seems like they very much see what they have in Mariah.
It looks like they see it.
Yeah, because we had heard the reports before she even came in that Tony was high on her. So I think putting her with the hottest women's wrestler in the company right now and Tony and kind of building the storyline around that shows that they have faith in her. And so far, she's been tremendous.
She's executing for sure. Just like I said, the presence and the look and everything is so good. And Maya World's incredible. I think they were saying she's only 21 or 22 years old too. I'm like, these young people, like the future of this is going to be insane because all these young people are really good already. Nick Wayne, Billy Starks, Maya World, like all these people that are this young, shout out to Starboy Charlie, are already really good. Yeah. So like when they get into their prime and beyond, they're going to be amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if you had any parting thoughts on New Year's Revolution last night. I thought it was a good show for SmackDown. I thought both main WWE shows this week were very good. We got a very good match with EO and
Michin.
I didn't want to say it, Brian. EO and Michin was a lot better than I expected. I thought the triple threat match was good as well. I expected shenanigans at the end, but it was a good main event.
I'm happy my homeboy KO got the big victory. He's going to be facing off with old Logan Paul for the United States Championship. I thought that the match at Santos was really good. I thought that was a really good tournament too, the U.S. title tournament.
Boy, I did not like Logan Paul on
oh yeah, he was awful.
He was terrible on commentary. There was one point where you could tell that they were trying to go to commercial and they were doing the usual call right before commercial. He tried to get one last part in and it cut him off right before commercial. And I was like, yeah, you gotta pay attention to the cue.
The issue is that Michael Cole's not out there. Like Kevin Patrick's and Corey Graves can't wrangle up fucking Logan Paul, but Michael Cole would be able to.
Yeah, he was awful on commentary, but the match itself was good. It's Santos, it's KO. Santos is gonna have a big year. I'm a big fan of the stable he's got.
I'm so excited about that stable, man. They look great. Like they might be bigger than the LWO with how they look at this point. Like they're gonna be doing something big.
Yeah, you might have Andrade in the mix with those guys eventually too. That's a cool thing to think about. You get I think if he goes there, he's got to go to SmackDown. SmackDown feels like the best.
You got to put him. I was gonna say you got to put him on the heel side, but yeah, I think he's better on the heel side. I don't know, but I mean, next to Ray is gonna. There's so many angles they could go with this. Lucky them, they got a lot of great Latin stars over there.
I thought it was a strong episode of SmackDown. I thought the way they handled the stuff with Heyman and Heyman addressed all of Roman's usurpers that are trying to come forward all at once in that promo. I thought that was cool.
I like Roman just coming in and they're asking about Rock and him just laughing. I thought that was great.
If you watch how he broke down every person when he got to CM Punk, he stopped and said, "Welcome back." I said, He was like, go from best friend to advocate to wise men. I very much feel like they're setting up the seeds for Punk Roman happening sometime this year. They did a lot of really good things with SmackDown. I thought the women's stuff they did was promising. I thought we got two good women's matches and the women's titles matches this week. Yeah. Like I said, we got two people getting busted open the same week. Did not expect that. LA Knight got some blood. I said immediately that Cody is somewhere rubbing his hands together like, man, it's my time. We're back.
Can't wait to have my accident.
But yeah, man, really strong week of wrestling all around, man. I don't think there was any misses from anybody.
No, every company was knocking it out the park, Phil. Honestly, like from top to the bottom. Japan, New Japan, all Japan was doing it. New Japan, Big Japan, fucking DDT, like everybody was out here cooking this week. No. This is an amazing way, I think, an amazing start to the year. Like if this is what the year is going to be like, strap the fuck in.
Yeah, but we got the Tyler debut on the main roster. I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
Tyler came. came up to team up with Butch. Please
Finally.
just change this man's name back to Pete Dunne.
Also.
They reference all the British strong style stuff. I thought the match was pretty deadly with Strong. Seems like they're gonna go somewhere with that forward. ALP is back. Put them tag belts up,
kind
man.
of a lot happened on SmackDown, huh? AOP is back. Paul Ellering was out there too.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross, Scarlett. Like, yeah, there's a lot going on.
I don't know how I feel about them being teamed with Karrion, but I'll give it a chance. Karrion had a really good interview with my guy Emilio. Check that out on his YouTube
They're trying
channel.
to help him out, Phil. Like, they're like, please, you guys like this guy.
Yeah. I'm excited to see AOP back, though, as a fan of them from NXT. I don't think that they ever got the run that they should have gotten on the main roster. So I'm excited at the prospect of them possibly getting to do more. But yeah, split them belts up, man, and get some belts on SmackDown. They got a strong tag division on SmackDown now. You need some belts over there.
Yeah, it always gets into that undeniable territory, and it's at that point of like, all these tag teams are really good.
Yeah.
You're building strong tag teams. They need something to fight for, dude.
Yeah,
so
you got the LWO guys over there. You got Pretty Deadly. Now you got British Strong Style. You got Garza and Humberto.
Yeah,
you got a lot of tag teams over there now. You got
other LWO guys.
Yeah, you gotta get some tag titles over there.
And speaking of other LWO guys, shout out to the homeboy Joaquin Wild for doing a wild ass dive this week.
That was crazy.
Where he drove about 20 different feet away from the ring. Amazing spot. Shout out to him. I think that I've been a fan of him for such a long time, and for him to get this position, I think is awesome. I think our last super chat of the day is going to come from Will Chisholm, who says the homeboy from NXT won the breakouts. That was Oba, right?
Oba, yep.
Yeah.
All three breakout tournament winners are black. Correct me if I'm wrong, but all three breakout tournament winners from the men's side are black. ACH, Jordan Miles, Carmelo, and now Oba.
They transitioned from the breakout tournament to the Heisman Trophy of professional wrestling, the North American Championship.
Yeah. But yeah, man, strong week of wrestling. With a blast sitting here talking to you about it as always. Appreciate the support as always. Thanks for all the humper chats and super chats. Yeah, I don't think we got any more humper chats. Let me double check.
I think that's it. It has been.
That is it, man. This has been Grapsody. I'm Phil Lindsey, of course. Righteous Reg. We are out of here.